Network. The show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
Welcome in, everybody. Heat Ratio Sports, episode 142. I'm your host, Tony Cotillo. As always, joined by Mr. John Coker, Coach Dave Dixon, and Mr. Mikey Googs. And boys, it seems like the top of the conversation is completely dominant every single week. So let's just run down a little couple things, for tonight's show. As everybody's wondering, listen, the title of the show, Eagles Conspiracy Theories. I mean, I have one. I know we all have one. I'm just interested to see what you guys think. Jalen Hurts under center looks like a completely different team. Will it continue to keep being productive? Was Doug right all along? Non-existent Carson Wentz excuses. Eagles Dallas week. Carson landing spots, if that's so, is the direction of the Philadelphia Eagles. John Dorsey maybe equals Pat Gillick, but I have some interesting thoughts about John Dorsey I'm going to show you guys that's really kind of scaring me a little bit with that whole consultancy hire. A Pittsburgh downward spiral, so be interesting to hear what John has to talk about with that. Could the Bills win it all? NFL players playoff push, and the Jets upset the Rams. And NBA tip-off, bold NBA predictions, what's in John's CD wallet, and we have a brand new segment tonight, turning up the heat, where we will put each one of us on a spot. I have a Wheel of Fortune wheel. We are going to spin it live. Everybody will see it where it falls. You will have under 30 seconds to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind based on that selection. But boys, I know we lost the game. I understand, but Eagles football is back, man. We can say whatever we want. Eagles football is back. I was excited. I know you guys were excited. The energy level is back. We're pumped. I mean, listen, that game was completely, unfortunately, if this was a team of 5 weeks ago, we wouldn't have been happy with that outcome. But what did we say? We were in it. Listen, Jalen Hurts, 24-44. It wasn't electric, but he threw for 338 yards. Threw for 3 touchdowns. Rushed for 63 yards. And actually scored a touchdown. So, I mean, this guy has turned into, and basically John will like this, but he's turned into the best fantasy Philadelphia quarterback since Donovan McNabb, which is crazy. But think of it, in 2 games. So before we get to talk, let me just say one thing. I always like to give my thoughts, just like every single one of you guys do. Audience, please, the comments, let us know what you feel too. But my whole thing, number one, I'm learning to hate Twitter. Okay, I really am. I am. I like it because I like to network with people, but the complete morons that think they know the game, they tweet and run, it's called. Let me get a couple tweets. I get out, and I get my boys to start piling up that got 235 followers. It's ridiculous, but whatever. That's another day. But what I will say is, this whole situation, man, makes me really think. I'm going to start this right off. Number one, let's stop with the excuses. They're gone now because, listen, I heard all about Jalen Hurts. All about Carson Wentz having no offensive line. I heard all about Carson Wentz having no receivers. And I heard all about Carson Wentz not having an offseason. He didn't have time to work with these guys. Nobody has been colder to the game than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts did not have an offseason whatsoever. He did not have first-team reps whatsoever. He was thrown into the fire. And let me just tell you something. I still think Carson Wentz will be productive wherever he goes. It cannot be here. There will be too much dissension. There will be too many issues with both these guys on this team. Jalen Hurts beat 2 damn good defenses. They didn't win the game, this past week, but the week before they did. But they played well against 2 defenses. And the last thing I'm going to say is I still think This is my conspiracy theory. I talked to Dave about it off the record today, and I said it today to Sean Price on the Daily Ticket on Fox. And all I said was, I think this was Doug's guy all along. Like I've said on this show. And what if the conspiracy, I'm going to start one right now. What if, number one, Nick Foles was Doug's guy? And he didn't want to let Nick Foles go. But they let Nick Foles go. So he wasn't happy. What if Nick Foles was Frank Reich and DeFilippo's guy? Okay, and guess what? Frank Reich gone, DeFilippo gone. Anybody that was tied to Nick Foles, gone. Okay, and then you get Carson Wentz in here. Okay, because you need a quarterback. You have him. We're going to sign him. Maybe Doug didn't want to sign him. Doug wanted Jalen Hurts. Maybe that's why he's 11-2 or 11-3 with any other quarterback besides Nick Foles. I mean, besides Carson Wentz. So my feeling is this is Doug's guy. And I'll tell you what, the last 2 weeks, Doug's actually showed me a little something. I'm still not a big Doug guy, but this just, to me, I'm going to go back on my word a little bit, the way I look at this, and it's got to be Howie Roseman that takes the hit. It just has to be. Because the way this whole thing was constructed, if that's the case, and it was Howie's guy to sign, if it was Howie's guy to keep, if it was Howie's thing all along, which is really thinking that's the way this thing is all, formulated out, it's a big problem, and he's got to go. So, I don't know anything else about it. All I know is we were sitting here last year, and we were thinking about we had a franchise quarterback. We thought everything was great, and now all of a sudden, we don't know what to think. But I'll tell you what, Jalen Hurts, I'm sold. I don't need any more. 2 games, enough. This dude is the real deal. I know they're going to get film. I'm going to hear all about it. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Whatever. This is the new breed of the NFL. Love it. Like it. Get used to it. He is your starting quarterback for the foreseeable future. And not to mention, he's on a rookie deal. Okay, not to mention he's on a rookie deal, which means now your cap problems, a lot of them go away. So, again, I am sold. Yes, David McLean, I am sold, bro. Sold. Tell me why I'm not sold. And then, listen, if you can bring some validity to your argument, I'll give it to you. Dave, we talked today. Let me go right to you, man. I know. Listen, you said a lot, and I know we want to get a lot out on the show, so we didn't take away John's time and Mike's time. Dave, what do you think, man? What do you got going? You have any good conspiracy theories? What are you thinking of Jalen? Are you sold? That's what I'm just going to say. The word for tonight is sold. Are you sold on Jalen Hurts?
Well, I think I'd be foolish to say that I was sold 100% on Jalen Hurts. I will say that I am sold on the excitement level of watching Eagles football again. He brings a whole nother level to the game. His heart, his desire, the way the team plays around him, the play calling, the whole formula, it just seems to be legit to me. So you said so many things there.
I know. You know how I go.
Conspiracy theories. Now, I know I've been on this show saying things that may look like I'm your words, a Carson apologist. But I'll be honest with everybody here. All I've done in my own head is given you reasons why things haven't worked. And I think they're legitimate reasons. The offensive line has sucked. His weapons aren't good enough. The play calling wasn't good enough. And I've said on this show that Carson has not played well whatsoever, not even close to well. He deserves everything he gets. I personally have said to you, and I said on the show as well, that I probably wouldn't have benched him, but I'm glad they did because we got to see this kid play. Now, Tony, the stuff that you and I talked in private about was there's a designer to the program, and John and Mike, I'm going to go a little bit involved here and tell you why, and you guys heard it firsthand, why I believe that the designer of the program is the reason why there's issues here and there's conspiracies to all this. There's one person or two or whatever that has conspired to make this thing go. Why? If let's take Carson Wentz out of the mix and make it quarterback X and quarterback Y is Jalen Hurts. Why in God's green earth wouldn't quarterback X be confused when you just signed me to a multi-million-dollar deal? You gave me, the keys to the car, named me the starting quarterback, And then all of a sudden, in my fourth year or going into my fourth year, you draft a quarterback in the second round. That's very confusing to the whole NFL. That was confusing, right? So, and I'm not sticking up for Carson. I could care less who the quarterback of the Eagles is. I don't care what color, what number he wears, where he's from. I don't care. I want to win. But it's confusing. It's confusing to us fans, and it's confusing to the players. They've caused this from top to bottom. I don't care if Jalen Hurts is our quarterback. I don't care if Carson Wentz is our quarterback. Get them the right weapons, and let's go win games. That's the biggest thing. I understand the people that are upset that Carson didn't seem to have this going for him or that going for him. I'm going to tell the fans right now, that's water under the bridge at this point. What you can be mad about as an or as a fan base is that you've missed on multiple draft picks and you continue to do so. And I brought this up to Tony in the conversation today. I brought up a team that doesn't know they had a quarterback or doesn't know if they like their quarterback or not, Dallas Cowboys, right? We did. The Eagles did. They named their quarterback. They gave him a multi-million-dollar deal, one of the best ever. Look what the Dallas Cowboys did. They surrounded him with free agents and draft picks and receivers and running backs and linemen, and they weren't even sure that Dak was their guy. We made a statement, a bold statement, and given him this contract, saying you're our guy, and then, in my opinion, the people that you picked to surround Carson with haven't been successful. And then you go and draft a second-round quarterback. Is that confusing? To me, that's confusing. The Cowboys picked these guys. They've hit on all their draft picks. They went out and got Amari Cooper, which they traded draft picks for. They drafted offensive linemen. They drafted Ezekiel Elliott, number one, and they surrounded Dak with their guy, with these guys, and they're not even sure if they're a quarterback. Our organization says this guy is our quarterback and then doesn't surround him. But that's part of the conspiracy that I don't understand. But the designer, go back to my thought in the beginning, was the designer of our program needs to be at fault here. Whoever you want to choose, whether it's Jeffrey or Howie or Doug, in my opinion, it's Howie, has to be at fault for all this confusion and not giving either quarterback the right weapons.
I like it. Listen, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we've already seen and we talked about, but now we're seeing it play out. We really are. You know, Al, what's up, buddy? Jason wants to talk a little Pittsburgh with John. We'll ask John that in a little bit because I'm curious as well. David says, listen, everyone was sold on Wentz as well. You could say you're sold all you want, but you're not. If this guy craps about the next 2 weeks, we're all back to square one. Nah, I disagree. See, here's the problem. This is the evolution of the new style of a quarterback. Okay? This guy is still going to be able to make plays no matter what. He is. He's not going to crap the bed completely ever because you know why? He's able to do so many different things. He's actually at ground zero right now. Think about it. He's at ground zero. Okay, all you Wentz people, and again, I still got love for Carson. I think he's going to go somewhere, and he's going to be tremendous. I do. I still think you don't forget how to play. It's just not going to be here. But all you Carson people, please understand. Ask yourself the same question. Give Jalen the same excuses. Let me know that Jalen doesn't have any offensive line. Okay, so yeah, Dave, if he does crap the bed, well, then I want to hear you say, well, next year he'll have his right tackle back. He'll have his right guard back. He'll have an offensive line. Why don't we give Jalen the excuse if he craps the bed? So see, that's where you're wrong. You can't sell me on that. Mikey Googs, man, what's up? What do you think, buddy? Are you sold on Jalen Hurts?
I mean, I just got to go back to what Dave was saying. I don't mean to attack you, brother, but you got a whole different. You're spinning a whole different thing now. You totally went back. You know, I'm saying last couple of weeks was, it's not Carson's fault because he's surrounded by garbage, and now it's like, all right, I just want to see the Eagles win. I'm with you, Dave. This isn't anything personal, but I think you represent what we all represent, and we see a winner, and now we're going with the winner, because I feel the same way that you do. But I will not say that we did not surround Carson Wentz with unproductive people, because now all of a sudden the offense just is clicking. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey came out of nowhere and is diving all over the place to make plays. Where's this guy been? So you know what I'm thinking? And Dave, I'm going to switch my position, I think, maybe the way that we all have. Not just you. Me, I switch every week. But I'm going to say that it looks like Wentz was the problem. And it looks like that, look, I know when they snap the ball, you got 10 people in Hurts' face. We've seen it over and over again. We know that offensive line, the Swiss cheese. And Dave's been calling that out from the beginning. There's no doubt about that. But it just looks like the entire team is not only playing for Hurts, but all these kids have talent. You're telling me that Dallas Goedert doesn't have talent? Sanders doesn't have talent? Ward, Fulgham, Boston Scott? I mean, geez, even Rigger looks like he's got some talent. I don't know about that. The team is full of talent, and the guy at the helm is a big baby. He's a baby who forgot how to play football and wanted to blame everybody else. So I believe that locker room stuff that came out last year, because everything is really clear on the wall right now. The problem was this guy, because don't tell me that a rookie who's coming in out of nowhere executes the offense like that. And I know that he's making throws and he's making runs that Carson may no longer be able to do. But whatever this kid is doing, he's leading the team, and they're all getting behind him, and they're all playing for him. Don't tell me that these guys suck. Now, did Howie miss draft picks? Yeah, dude, I'm no way a Howie fan. I mean, geez, the DK Metcalf, that alone, he should have been fired from that alone. Okay, but I see some real disturbing trends, and I think that now what Hurts, yeah, I mean, look, he could crap the bed, but we don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know is this: Howie Roseman is not the answer. So I certainly agree with Dave on that. He's got to go. Okay, but Lurie's got some kind of love affair with this guy that he's afraid to let him go. I don't know what it is. So now he goes and he gets this John Dorsey, and everybody wants to say, well, this report that came out that Dorsey was working with the Eagles before they made this, before they went into the draft, and which is great. Maybe Dorsey had some influence on them picking Hurts. We don't know what he did. But if everybody thinks this guy's going to come in and be the savior, everybody should take a look at what he was handed with when he was in Cleveland, and he made 3 picks and he had 50,000 of them, and the rest of them were blown. And one of them was Baker Mayfield, which a monkey could have picked that pick. That was a no-brainer. Anybody could have done that. So this is another case of what Dave has been saying, and I think what we all feel is Jeffrey Lurie. Well, Dave has probably been the only one that said he's been really poking at Lurie from the beginning of all this, right from the beginning of the season. But then Lurie goes and he gets Howie's back and he puts football people around Howie and puts him in the corner. Number one, Howie screwed up the salary cap so bad. He's made so many bad contract restructuring, and now they're bringing this guy Dorsey in, he's a retread, dude. He's a McCarthy. He's a retread. This isn't going to help us. We need new breed. We don't need this.
He's a retread. I like that.
He's a retread.
I like that. Let me ask you something though, Goose. I want to make sure because I misunderstood you. Are you talking about Dave retracting or me?
Not you. I don't think. I think you're the only one that. I don't think. No. I'm talking about Dave. Dave was like. Dave was Team Carson, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I think we all were. And I think Dave was a little reluctant to say if Hurts came in. And Tony, I didn't believe you either, because you were like, look, Hurts can come in. This kid can play. He could take over the offense, and you're never going to see Wentz again. I'm sort of was like Dave on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I was done with Wentz, where Dave wasn't done with Wentz. Dave was more along the lines of this kid could play. Just give him an offensive line and give him the weapons that he's used to. Me, I wrote Wentz off weeks ago. You know that. And Tone, you were like, well, look, I mean, I don't know if I'm writing Wentz off, but I will tell you this. If Hurts gets in, Wentz is done forever. And you were right on that one.
Well, I said they waited so long because they were afraid of this. I think Doug knew. That's why I keep saying this was Doug's guy. Doug knew all along that Hurts was going to. I'm not saying he's the better quarterback. Listen, Carson Wentz, if accurate, he has a better arm. Okay, we all know. Listen, I'm not. Let's call it the way it is. But what I'm saying is, for this offense, if you look at, I said to Dave, okay, they are, because Dave mentioned to me today about Baltimore Ravens, that they're trying to emulate the Ravens, and which was a good comparison for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
he's emulating the Kansas City Chiefs, and the reason why I say that is because Jalen Reagor is a Tyreek Hill pack. Quez Hawkins, what's his name? Quez Watkins.
Who knows his name? Who even knew he was on the team?
Right, exactly.
I didn't know who that guy was.
You have Quez Watkins. You have Jonathan Singleton. They're speed guys. Who do they emulate? McCole Hardman, right? Alshon Jeffrey. Who does he emulate? Sammy Watkins, big guy, no speed. Jason Kelsey, Dallas Goedert. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. So to me, this is what they're trying to do, and I think Doug knew that all along. I do. I do. Again, McClain. Listen, Dave. Again, you have to read between the lines, bro. Okay, did I say Jalen Reagor is Tyreek Hill? No way. I hate Jalen Reagor right now. I didn't like that pick. Not the person, the pick. I hate the pick because of what we could have had. But what I'm saying is that's what I think they're trying to style themselves at. Is it going to work? I have no idea. But I think that's what they're trying to do. John?
You know, you do have to wonder, though. You do have to wonder real quick, Tone. If we did get Justin Jefferson, would he have looked half as good as, on our system? I mean, we'll never know that.
Well, that's the thing. And I said that today. And John, this is a perfect segue to you. I watched Ben Roethlisberger last night. He couldn't hit an 18-wheeler parked in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Okay, if he tried. Okay, and he's got three of the best receivers in the NFL. So, again, if Carson Wentz has Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and Juju Smith-Schuster, if he doesn't hit them in stride and he's not accurate, this team's still going to suck. So, we could get all the players we want. The problem was Carson. I'm not saying it's going to be forever problem, but this year, it was all Carson, man. It was Carson. You had to see it. So, John, what is? I love your team because you're the calm guy, you're the quiet guy. As your Steelers are a sinking ship right now.
Oh,
we'll get to that later.
That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice.
They are. I don't know what the hell's going on.
That was wrong.
But if anybody can turn around, Tomlin can. But I gotta ask you, man. I keep saying sold, and again, so I do not expect Jalen Hurts to win the Super Bowl next year. What I'm saying is I'm sold on him as leading us into the next era of Philadelphia football because Carson Wentz will not be back next year. John, what do you think?
I'm not sold. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think he could be. But after 2 games, I'm not sold. There have been many Gardner Minshew came in for 2 games and looked like he was going to be a top 5 quarterback. I understand it's a different type of quarterback. Okay, we already talked about the RG3. Look, there have been guys. I'm not saying that he is not going to pan out. I'm just saying there have been multiple instances of one-hit wonders at quarterback for a year. All right, this guy had 2 games. Yes, I have been impressed watching him play that he has a better passing game than I originally expected. So that's what I'm liking. But look, I mean, he's rolling out where Carson wasn't. Carson was feeling the pressure coming up the middle. He's rolling out. What's that doing? That's giving his receivers more time. And he has good vision downfield. All right. And the biggest thing is his rushability. He does not he runs the ball more than Mahomes, less than Lamar Jackson. All right. It's not a Baltimore offense. It's more like, to me, a Arizona offense. If you had to say, I mean, he's going to be getting double-digit carries every game, but they're not going to run the option 30% of the time like the Ravens do. But, I mean, he's a threat to run, which means the defenders have to respect that, which that was not the case with Wentz. So all along, I've been a Wentz backer. I backed the concept of benching him and seeing how it goes. At the point in the season where we were, there's no reason not to. He's obviously not right and needs to get something right. Whatever it is, whether it's his mind, whether he needed to go get benched. I didn't care what happened after Hurts comes in. If he does great, doesn't do great. But, I mean, I think the biggest difference, and it looks like Doug is loosened up in his play calling.
I was going to ask you that, John. Do you think that they're calling more rollouts for Hurts than they did for Wentz, or do you think they were calling rollouts for Wentz and he just didn't roll out?
That's a good. I didn't even look at it that way.
It's a good question.
It just looks different.
Yes, it looks different.
It is different.
They're calling a few more, but there was probably Wentz not comfortable doing it. I don't know, but the offense is opened up, is what it is.
Yeah, you see Peterson looks more comfortable, right? He does. He looks like he's back in the flow. He doesn't look dumbfounded on the sidelines. And we all crushed Peterson the last couple of weeks because it's just so easy to point the finger at the coach when we really don't know what's going on. I mean, we don't know what he sees. We don't know if he had any say into drafting Hurts, but they knew that there was a problem. And say whatever you want. It's very easy to point the finger at Howie because he screws up all the picks. But if they're using a second-round pick when they clearly had holes all over the place and way more priority than to pick another quarterback, I mean, that should have been the red flag and the alarm right there. Right now, it seems so clear, right?
That's a great point. That's a 100% great point, man.
Who knows?
No, you're right. I mean, why? You're not drafting a gadget guy in second round. You're not drafting a backup. You can easily draft a backup. I mean, they haven't had no luck with that. I mean, Mike Kafka, Clay Thorson. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't work. That doesn't work. The guy's starting right now, Tone. Think about it. $128 million, like Dave said. Huge contract, biggest, right? And Jalen Hurts is a starter. What are we even debating? What are we even debating?
Also, like Dave said, I mean, it's the oh, geez, I lost my train of thought. You kept talking.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Dave.
I tend to do that.
I love it. What's up, Dave?
My whole thing is, and I know this is exactly my point, Googs, and you pointed out saying that like backpedal on. And if you go back and listen to everything I said, I've said from the whole time, Carson has sucked. His numbers aren't good enough. Yep. And I look at it from a different side, I think. I look at it as, I never played at third level, but, and a coach, obviously I never coach at third level, but I'm looking at things. I don't listen to the media. I read, but I've stopped, since I started this podcast with Tony, I have stopped listening to the radio because I don't want anything to come out of my mouth that has been jaded from anybody else. So this is just my opinions. Right. On organizational stuff and playing the game. And what I saw was inept at receiver positions. I mean, you just said, these guys, and Jeffries was hurt, and Deshaun Jackson was old and signed, and he's been hurt. And I looked at all these things that they placed around Carson, and then I compared them to another team, just one other team, the Dallas Cowboys, right? They're in our division. Right. And I looked at a couple draft picks, and it just so happens the wide receivers, and you can go back to Jordan Matthews, and we could have had Devontae Adams, and you go back to
don't say that. I hope that's not true.
It is true.
It is true. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Oh, yes. I didn't even know that.
So, and I go back to DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson, and I look at these scenarios, and I just think, how weird is it? Let's just say.
I feel sick.
Our team, our organization hasn't done a solid by Carson Wentz. I don't care if it's Carson Wentz. Let's just say it's whatever. Like I keep talking about it. Quarterback X, quarterback Y.
Right.
I don't care who the quarterback is. Our organization, the Eagles organization, hasn't done right by us as fans, but they haven't done right by the team. They just have not.
Dave, let me ask you this. This is a good point, but does any team really always get it right? No. I mean, when you really look at the data and you crunch it down, what's the percentage of miss from the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth? I mean, I think, and don't quote me on this, but I read about this a while ago, and I think it was something like a 65 to 70% chance you're going to get an impact player if you draft them in the first round, and then that number drops off drastically to 30 or 40% in the second and 20% in the third. I know there's a big drop off. I'd be interested to see that. So it's really easy to say, we could have drafted this guy. We could have drafted this guy. But I do wonder when you look at the amount of draft picks and the signings that Roseman has made against other people that are in the league, right? I mean, where does he really stack up? Are they measure? Do they have some sort of an index where they measure the effectiveness of general managers in terms of who they picked and where they got the value from their free agents and their drafts? I'd be curious to know that.
No, I bet they do. It's a good point. It's a good point. But this is where I disagree with Dave.
Okay.
And I disagree with everybody saying that they didn't get any they didn't get any help for Carson Wentz. I rattle off a bunch of names, and we just rattle off some of this podcast. Okay, for everybody who says that they never got Carson Wentz any help, they drafted Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
They signed Alshon Jeffrey. They signed Deshaun Jackson. They drafted Jalen Reagor. They drafted, listen, I know, I'm not saying they worked. They drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Okay? They drafted guys, whether they were the wrong pick or not.
But I don't think that's what Dave's saying, that they're not getting the right people.
No,
that's what he's saying.
No, I'm not talking to Dave specifically. There is everybody. I kept hearing, and again, you hear it all the time, that they didn't get any Carson any help. The offensive line is atrocious. Hold on for a second, because last time I checked, we gave a tremendously big contract to Brandon Brooks, who was the best guard in football, who got hurt. Can't help that.
True.
We pay a Pro Bowler in Jason Kelsey, okay, who's playing on one arm. Can't help that. We paid Lane Johnson, Pro Bowl right tackle. He got hurt. Can't help that. Right? So you can't tell me that they didn't surround Carson Wentz with talent. They did. The problem is the narrative that is correct is what we're talking about with Howie Roseman, with the misses, the depth picks, the fourth and fifth round offensive linemen that can't step up and play. That's different. Don't tell me they didn't give Carson any weapons. They did, but it didn't work out.
It seems like it's a different argument. It's actually a little bit of a different conversation. You got to change the narrative a little bit on that.
And people have to do that, because you can't make that blanket statement and say they didn't do anything. They did, but that helps the narrative that shows that Howie Roseman has missed a lot, more than a lot of people give him credit for. And it sounds crazy. You're giving him credit for missing, but they have to, because he's missed on a lot of depth picks. There's a lot of guys in this league that are still playing that we drafted. A lot of guys. I mean, I just seen Jalen Watkins.
No, stop. Don't say that. I know.
Jalen Watkins is still playing.
I know. So,
I
saw another one, too, this weekend.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. So there's so many different arguments to this. And I hate it. I do. I absolutely hate it. It sucks. But again, we're like 30 minutes, and let me get to a couple comments. Something's wrong with the I
would be super interested.
Coming in really weird.
I would be interested to see the playoff teams, and that doesn't necessarily mean Super Bowl winners, but even divisional playoff teams or anybody that just got into the playoffs, looking at it, crunching the data, and seeing the mid-level draft picks. Maybe not necessarily the undrafted free agents, but the mid-level. Well, I guess we can consider undrafted free agents, because they all have to be scouted out, and they all got to be picked and signed to teams. But that mid-level, those depth players, those core players, and where you can find value at. And I'd be interested to see if there's any type of correlation between, if you draft really well between the 4th and the 7th round, those are the teams that are more than likely to make the playoffs, because they have depth and you're getting tons of value there. I mean, I'm sure there's something there,
I agree.
I think that's a great case study.
Yeah.
You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, and you look what they. I'm not saying I know this for a fact.
Right.
You look at their last 3 drafts, and you can go by whatever their numbers of draft picks are, and you look at their starters, and look what they have at free agency on their team.
Right.
And a lot of homegrown, as they say, talent on that team, and a lot, like you said, later draft picks that have become starters.
It seems like the Patriots are really good at that too. I don't know. Yeah. We should dig into it though. I'm super curious.
I like that. It's like a fantasy draft. We always say, honestly, your first 3 rounds are fun, but it's at round 4 to 8 in a 15, 16 round draft where you're going to hit your home runs, right? You can get those guys that are passed on. So it's the same kind of thing. I mean, listen, a lot of people checking in, and David, again, everyone was sold on Wentz. You can say you're sold all you want, but okay, we read this one already. This was the last one. Our buddy Al, what's up, Al? Checking in. The kid blew away any expectation I had about him. He had a great game, but it has been 2 games. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax. Listen, and Al, I agree. I get it, but we've been held down for so long. Okay, why is it not okay to get excited? And that's why issue. And here's another thing I mentioned to Dave.
Careful.
And I'm not going to steal this argument, because it wasn't my argument. Ryan Clark's argument, who, he's getting killed on Twitter because he called Carson Wentz soft. Well, guess what? If Carson Wentz is constantly looking over his shoulder, if they have to get rid of people because they're afraid of Carson Wentz's mental psyche, then he is soft. And number 2, Right. Clark was 100% correct when he said, when are we allowed to give Jalen Hurts some love? Because here's the problem. Jalen Hurts is going out there and balling, and I'm excited. Okay, for 2 games he's balling. What has he heard afterwards? I'm not going to name a starter for next week yet. How many teammates have come out? How many teammates are coming out saying, yeah, Jalen's our guy? No, we keep hearing people apologize for Carson Wentz. The players still apologize. Well, Carson's still my guy. How do you think that helps Jalen Hurts? So that's the problem. That's why these two can't be on the same team. There's too much dissension. So
that's for sure.
Right. So that's why, Al, I get it. Relax. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited because, you know what? I'm not a told you so guy. I'm not. Well, I am.
You can
sometimes.
be. You can be a told you so guy. You were the only one that said this. Nobody was saying
I mentioned this from like week 4.
Yeah,
I was saying
that's okay.
From week 4,
you can flex a little.
Right, I am going to flex. Screw everybody else who says I got not. Because guess what? They're not listening. I've said this, and I'm not saying I'm a scout. Not only that, but man, the writing was on the wall. The problem is so many people are so jaded. Over let's coddle Carson and rock him in the cradle. It's going to be okay, Carson. It's going to be okay, Ginger Jesus. When guess what? Jalen Hurts is out there balling out, and nobody's saying a word. We have to temper. We have to temper, right? No, we need to be excited because this year has sucked. 2020 has blown ass. Pandemic, COVID, people losing jobs, businesses closing, restaurants can't serve food, but you could go wall to wall, Target, shoulder to shoulder, and breathe on everybody, right?
That's right. That's right.
And the Eagles have sucked. Carson sucked.
Jake Elliott sucks.
Right.
Go ahead,
Jake
keep
Elliott
going.
Sucks.
Go.
John Middleton's a fraud. The Phillies blow. Can we just keep going on and on and on, right? So I'm getting freaking excited. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
It's good. It's good. And you know what? The offense looks competent.
Yes.
It brought you back to a competent-looking offense. Everything looks like it's fluid. Like John said, Doug Peterson looks like he's back in his flow. He's got his mojo again, right? Everybody seems to be playing for this guy. That catch that Alshon Jeffrey made on the sideline, he threw himself at that football, and that showed me that this guy maybe. And look, we don't know, but maybe he was fine a couple of weeks ago. Maybe he was totally recovered. Maybe he just wasn't running out there because the guy just doesn't like Carson Wentz. He's the guy that broke that story last year.
Hell yeah, he did.
So what's he going to go out there and play for a guy for that we have no idea what the hell's going on in the locker room? But I'll tell you, everybody played for this dude. They came out of the tunnel running. They were all fired up against the Saints, and they nearly won this game. And I'm telling you right now, going into Dallas, they're all going to be fired up again. The Eagles football is back. And quite frankly, after this year, after what everybody's been through, everything that you said, Tone, it's like a breath of fresh air. And the problem with Philadelphia fans is they fell in love so much with Carson Wentz because we traded away the guy that won the Super Bowl, and everybody is just in denial. So they had no choice but to embrace Carson Wentz. That's got to be what it is.
You know what, Mike? It's a great point, man. It's true. It's so true. David said, and David's got a good point here, and I get it. He says all this was said about Wentz in 16 and 17. The model quarterbacks were Brady, Rodgers, and Andrew Luck. Still can't believe he retired. He's a prototype quarterback. It was the exact same conversation. You're right. Listen, how pissed off was the fan base where they didn't rank Carson in the top 15? He wasn't, in the top 100 players. We were all. Did somebody know something we didn't? Did somebody, and that's the thing, did somebody know something we didn't?
I think it looks like it, and you know what? It all comes back to the NFL, right? Not for long.
Not for long. You're right. You're right there. David, there you go. Wentz amnesia. Dave says, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying pump the brakes. We just did this with Wentz. Let's give it an offseason. And I agree. Listen, I'm ready to but I'm excited now for the offseason. I wasn't excited because I was like, oh, man, because let's look at it. Let's play this out real fast. Say Carson is still the quarterback, and he's still throwing ducks, and he's still and he still can't get his head out of his ass.
Quails,
right? It's just terrible, right? And we get a top 5 pick, great. So what's this all season going to be? We're going to have to hope that Carson rights the ship, because if not, it's another year lost. I don't want to lose another year. So I'm actually happy that this happened now.
Well, you get guys back too. You get some key players back that are injured. So maybe if he did come back, and I'm not saying he will or he won't, but if he did come back, you're gonna get a restock bar. All right, for certain, because there's just certain guys you're just going to have to live with that you can't cut because of salary cap reasons. And I just don't think that everybody's so quick to annoy Hurts. And I don't want to take anything away from the kid. He's great. But we all saw when teams get film and these defensive coordinators, when they wake up in the morning, they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then until 4:30 at night, all they're doing is trying to figure out how to stop you from throwing a football. You will get figured out. It will not last unless you're one of the greats. Okay, and I'm not saying Hurts can't be one of the greats, but we all see these guys come out. They're flashes in the pan. Gardner Minshew and Uncle Rico lookalike dude, they get shut down, and that's just exactly what happens. So before we all fall in love with Hurts, I would definitely say let's temper expectations. I don't think that we don't have to be less excited. It's great to see this.
That's a good point.
How many second-year quarterbacks, Tony, you already know the answer. How many second-year quarterbacks in NFL history, as long as the Super Bowl era has been in place, have won the Super Bowl? John, do you know?
Do you know the answer, Dave?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm not going to answer because Dave told me that today. But
John, take a guess.
I don't know, 2.
Good guess. 3. One of them's your guy. Ben Roethlisberger. It was Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Russell Wilson in NFL history. Second-year quarterbacks.
Wow.
And let's not forget about the absolutely tremendous year Donovan McNabb had in his second year.
Yeah.
Right? And I know people, and again, I know we bring up him a lot on this show, but I mean, this is kind of playing out that way, except, this is a different scenario because obviously you had a successful quarterback at one time, right? Al says, what the hell does Ryan Clark know about Philly? You could say a lot of things about Carson, but he's far from soft. Al, I hate to keep disagreeing with you tonight, but I disagree, man. Like, here's my thing. Physically, no. 100% he's not soft. Physically, what I seen him throw on a limpy knee, a torn ACL, and continue to play hard, I would never call him physically soft. Mentally, and I know everybody's heard me on this show, I've consistently said he's a mental midget. Okay, he is. Mentally, he's got issues. If that's the case, so yeah, I think that's what Ryan Clark was saying. He's mentally soft. And if you're listen, Dave had Dave said brilliantly to me today on the phone about when Carson came out and said I don't want to be a backup, and Dave's right. Why would you? Why wouldn't you? We would think less of him if he did say he wanted to be a backup. This man wants to play, deserves to play, deserves to start. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen here, man. You see it. It's not going to happen here. This is a bad divorce.
Yeah, this is a bad divorce. This is ugly, man.
Yeah, and it's going to get uglier. It's going to get uglier. There's going to be things that come out, okay? And you see Mr. Lurie, Big Jeff, he's hiding. You don't see Jeff anywhere, right? Jeff's nowhere to be found. Any other time, he would come out, oh, we're the gold standard. Look at my hot wife that's 30 years younger. This and that. That's great.
We want to win championships. We want to win Super Bowls. Where's this dope at?
What emotional intelligence?
Dope. He's
emotional intelligence. Come on, Jeff.
You gotta open your heart. Fuck out of here. Go back eating caviar, you douchebag. I can't
stand him. Oh, Big Jeff getting run over tonight. I
John,
love it.
Can you imagine this disrespect in the Rooney family?
Well, no, not at all. Dave says, I will 100% agree with being excited about Hurts. However, there's no reason to be sold. I'll give you that. Listen, I'll completely give you that. Dan said, Dan Green, our buddy Fans Firebox, checking in. Heat Ratio Sports. I still saw an abandonment of the running game. Doug still vanilla. Interesting. I actually thought, that they had a pretty decent game plan. Maybe I'm wrong. Dan says, I was never a Hurts fan in college. I'll root for him. I hope he continues to surprise me. Now, a lot of people have said that. I've talked to a lot of people that follow a lot of college ball, and it's a mixed reception. Some guys say, yo, man, I watched this guy. He was unbelievable. And I hear some guys say, yeah, he was not good at all. So, but here's the thing. And again, sometimes it's not all physically. We mentioned, me and Dave talked about this today. It's all about leadership. Here's a young guy who's come in and we've heard about this, throughout his collegiate career. that he is a true leader in the clubhouse. He's a true leader on the field. And this team has responded to Jalen Hurts. Say what you want, right? It's respond. Any other quarterback situation when this happens, you'll be able to see. You'll see a team respond, and when they respond, listen, we've seen it. We were on life support when Donovan McNabb entered that Washington Redskins game. Life support. Life support. And all of a sudden, we were happy as hell. Right?
We never looked back.
Right? Jimmy shaking. Right? I mean, it was something that we're witnessing once again. It really is. John, luckily, I mean, you haven't had to have this situation in X amount of years, and I know everybody's saying to relax, but going forward, what do you think? I mean, listen, do you see any scenario, honestly, where this doesn't end in a divorce, where it doesn't end with one of these guys going somewhere else? Are you still under the impression that just bring it back and battle it out training camp, like a couple young boys, right? Are you still think that can happen? Because I don't.
It all depends if somebody's going to be able to, if they're going to figure out something with Wentz's contract. All right, it's a big nut to crack on this thing, and about the different cap hits based on the different dates. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I think there's one in February, there's one in June. Certain amounts hit their cap hits, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't really get into all the financials. I just know there are financial implications. And what team are you going to get to take on that contract and that cap hit? So it's going to be tough to find a partner to marry on that one. I don't know how ruined Wentz is. All right. And, he's been demoted for all of 3 weeks. And I think any quarterback in the NFL is not going to want to be demoted and ride the pine. They want to start. So if his impression is Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback and he's going to hold on to the job, then I want out of Philly. All right, but he can hold out. I'm sure Philly would probably like to ship him somewhere. You know what I mean? If they could get rid of that contract, but it's going to be a tough trading partner to find.
Yeah. So I will answer you this because I did look this up. So, and I told Dave a little misinformation earlier. I thought it was March, but or April. It is actually June. So Carson Wentz is due a $10 million roster bonus June 1st. Now, if Carson Wentz is given a $10 million, if you eat that $10 million, you now are able to trade a quarterback for an annual value of 2 years and $25 million a year, which is a freaking bargain in the NFL. So the contract is more tradable than you think. So that's the thing. If you can get, so your dead cap hit is no longer if you're able to trade that contract after that roster bonus. So you're going to eat the $10 million. Okay. But guess what? You ate $10 million with Jason Peters. Doesn't really matter, right? At the end of the day, you'll find somebody to dance with you for damn sure, because you got guys like Jameis Winston stealing money right now. You got guys all over the NFL stealing money. Chase Daniel still stealing money as a backup.
Who's his agent?
Grand larceny. Grand larceny. That guy's one of the biggest stiffs I've ever seen play.
Sam Bradford must have the same agent as his.
Yes,
Sam Bradford has collected a lot of dough. He should be wearing a ski mask.
He should be grand larceny. Just straight up robbing and stealing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking that Kirk Cousins is somebody that's got to line up too. Guaranteed first ever
money.
Guaranteed
money.
Who negotiated Kirk Cousins' contract? It wasn't Rosenhaus.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know who it was, but there's an ESPN, I think it's an E60 or it's NFL Network, like a focus special. You go back and watch Like it's a half. It's actually pretty neat. It just shows you how much of a stiff Kirk Cousins is. Like how soft he is. Like he's one of the biggest softies I've ever seen. But I'm sorry, he just really is. But you can actually go through logistically, which is really neat. You could go through and see how the phone calls he's got from his agent, how he was talking to the team, how they wanted this, how he wanted that. The agent was like, no, we're not taking that. We want this. So it actually was pretty neat to see the whole thing. So if you can YouTube it and check it out, it was pretty good. Trevor second in. What's up, Trevor? He said Donnie is the man. Talking about McNabb. Dan Green says PI on Aeneas Williams, by the way. Wow. He's bringing up Aeneas Williams. I love it. That's a big-time name. Trevor says,
wow.
Who's a bigger mental midget, Fultz or Wentz? See, that's harsh. That's harsh. I can't. I can't go down.
I got to go with Fultz on that one.
And again, let me preface this by saying, okay, we're basing this, like I'm saying, mentally soft and mental midget based on the fact of him not being able to have somebody that has any kind of talent underneath of him, have anybody that commands any kind of presence. To me, that makes him soft. I would never question a guy's personal ability or his personal fortitude. Some of the stuff that's going on by questioning his character is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some people are just complete bozos, and they shouldn't even be able to give it a keyboard or a platform, okay? So freedom of speech is great, but when you start calling stuff like that out, you're an idiot. Has no place for it. Zero. Trevor says, divorce reminds me my buddy's parents in middle school. It went for a term are the worst.
I think Trevor's right on that one. This is not going to be a clean divorce at all. This is a bad one.
It's not. It's really, really not.
So Kirk Cousins' agent is Mike McCartney.
Mike, oh yeah, listen, again, everybody, I apologize. These comments are coming in super slow. Literally, look at this. Trevor just came up. Mike McCart, Kirk Cousins, Dan Green checked. Everybody's checking in. These comments are way behind. I apologize. Dave says, can we really go through another quarterback dilemma here in Philly? Enough is enough. We're not the Browns. I agree.
Dorsey would argue otherwise.
Yes, and then we're going to get to that in 1 second. Al says, Tony, you're sure about that? Al, the comments came in late. Do me a favor. Tell me. I'd love to answer that. I'm just not sure what. I went on a rant for about 5 minutes, so I'm not sure.
Yes.
What we're talking about. Dave, Blaine Gabbert is a king of thieves.
Jesus. Jesus. Just the name alone.
We have to get a stiff list again. We really do, man.
Blaine Gabbert's definitely up there. For sure.
We didn't mention Blaine Gabbert. Maybe
no, we didn't. We did
Jarrett
not.
Lorenzen. I think we remember him. Yeah, from the Giants.
He was like 290 pounds, dude.
Yeah, who is this guy? He just get done cooking burgers off a grill. Like they threw in a football game, man. It was unbelievable. Jamar checking in says Jalen's a great fit and grip for the. Jamar, listen, Jamar's a college guy, man. He's been all in. I mean, he was going out up against Coach Dave last week. He's a Jalen guy. He's saying Jalen's the guy, and another guy who watched. So listen, it's all going to play out. It really is, but. Al, don't forget about that comment. Oh, here we go. Al says the cat. Yeah, the cat pit you were saying. Al, I looked it up, and if I'm right, and hey, Trevor, do me a favor. I know, Trevor, you are. Again, I like to try to get all these people. Upper Bowl podcast, check them out. He had me on as a guest. They do good things over to him and his boy Jordan. Do a lot of cool things, man. Check them out. Give him a shot. I know you're good with numbers, Trevor. Do me a favor. See if I'm right, but I'm almost positive, Al, that it's $10 million due on June 1st. And after that,
God,
it's 60 mil or 50 mil, which is 25 per year for 2 years. So I think that's tradable. So I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Dan says my Aeneas Williams was in reference to your comment about 2-year Donovan. Yes, NFC Championship against the Rams, man. Aeneas Williams.
That was the greatest show on turf, right?
Yes, that was Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce.
Oh my God, that team was stacked. Marshall Faulk.
Marshall.
Azeem. Wow.
That's when you had that. Your team is good, like the Steelers wide receiving core, who's having issues right now. But again that when you have 3 receivers that are picked in fantasy, you know you're doing pretty good in offense, right?
Yeah, for sure. 20. Just to let you know, that is confirmed. It is a $10 million roster bonus in 2021. His base is 15.4, signing bonus 3.27.
Okay.
With a $10 million roster bonus, a $6 million option. It's crazy. 34 million cap hit.
So there
Dead
you go.
Cap hit 59 mil.
59 mil, right? So, but again, you know, there's ways. But here's the thing: there's ways to work around that.
Peanuts, right, John? Peanuts.
There's ways to work around that. There's ways to get around that money.
Yeah.
Tax evasion. Tax evasion.
John's like, yeah, it's called Bermuda or the Cayman Islands.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Jay says at Michigan State education for Cousins. He's a smart guy. No, listen, Jason's an MSU guy. So, again, he could be a smart guy. He's still stiff when it comes to football.
He may be a little bit partial, Jason, but yeah, I like the connection.
Trevor says Adam Archuleta. We're naming names of the past right there.
We're going into this just straight up bum category.
So Al says, but what about your dead cap number? Should be 25 to 34, right? So I agree, but again, it's not untradeable because I think and again, I'm not a capologist. I'm going to have to look at this, but I'm pretty sure that there's a way to where if you trade him, there's some kind of trade exception and there's something that kicks in. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try to tell you I do, but we'll have to look into that. But I heard many people say this is a very tradable contract. So after that $10 million hit. We'll see. I don't know. I just don't see them being able to come back at all. So let me get real fast before we move on a little bit. Let's talk about John Dorsey for a second because I'll tell you what, John Dorsey definitely has a pedigree. He's been in, Mike said Mike McCarthy, right? So he's been in the Green Bay organization, Kansas City organization, Cleveland organization.
Retread.
Right. And here's what scares you about him. As much as he's done some good things, he has, but I think he's done more hurtful things than he does good things. Now, I want you guys to see this, which is pretty scary, okay? And I'm going to share this so we can read it together. And it's a couple paragraphs, and this is from SI.com. And, it kind of scared me a little bit. So, when you read this, it specifically says, once players got... Now, this is when Dorsey was a GM for Cleveland. Once players got into the facility, Dorsey played favorites, got rid of productive players to clear the way for incapable draft picks, alienated players still on the team, and got involved with coaching decisions, essentially dictating to his hand-picked coach, stiff Freddie Kitchens, who would play. Players didn't trust the coaching staff because they knew whatever they said might be undercut the second they left practice field.
Seems like a smart hire.
Right, exactly. So it gets worse. So listen, particularly during the 2019 season, this dynamic created a toxic environment and miserable locker room in Cleveland. Players such as Rashard Higgins and David Njoku were singled out and left to rot on the bench, while players such as Antonio Callaway, who didn't even know the playbook or even where to line up, were consistently provided opportunities. Njoku was expected to be traded, and Higgins would not have been re-signed had Dorsey been retained. Multiple failed drug tests finally forced Dorsey to pull the trigger and plug on Callaway. That's a problem, boys. I don't like that a little bit. I don't like that a little bit, man. You hear stuff like that. John, how can it? I mean, listen, this is from a very credible Sports Illustrated writer. Again, so when you're talking about that, that's got to give you a little shakiness, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, personally, I wouldn't be taking anybody from the Browns. I mean, just to start off with,
the Browns look good now, though, bro. Right?
Yes, first year, yes. But I'm saying there, historically, it's not that has been run very well. That organization, their draft picks panning out. It just hasn't been. Football hasn't been good to Cleveland for a few years. But yeah, I mean, you hear that. That's the stuff that happens. I'm not even saying in the locker room, but until articles like this come out, you never know what's actually going on in a locker room or like in the team culture. So, I mean, I don't know if I guess it's believable, but you just hope that this guy straightened up from what he did in Cleveland.
Yeah, by the way, that's Pete Smith, SI.com. Check it out. It's pretty good. Brown's Digest on Fan Nation for SI.com. The heading of the article is called "Don't Hire John Dorsey as your team's general manager." So I mean he's pretty forthright the way he feels. Okay, and this was written on December 2nd. Just to give you an idea. So this is Pete Smith, writer for FanNationSI.com, and he's pretty adamant about why. And I just read them. It's not good at all. I don't want that at all. David calls him Chip Dorsey. I like that. Dan says we also have Tom Donahoe as senior personal director. Great. I love Tom Donahoe. John, it's a Pittsburgh guy, correct? Or was that Tom Modrak? Was Modrak?
Tom Modrak was definitely a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah,
I don't know enough about Tom Donahoe.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm definitely thinking of that. Trevor says just bring in Dimitrov, like I've been saying. Listen, there's going to be some moves, man. There's just going to be some moves. We don't know what they are. They're going to be interesting, but the more I read about Dorsey today, and the more I looked at it, listen, I'm not sold. I'm not sold at all. Sticking on NFL, let's talk about this. We're an hour into the show. I'm definitely going to try to keep this under 2 hours again. But I want to know you guys. Let's talk about Carson landing spots. And again, it's fun. Listen, it's fun because it's number one. Let's just pretend that we're all capologists and we know there's a way that they could trade Carson Wentz and that they are going to trade Carson Wentz. Again, we don't know that. It's just we have to think. Listen, you have to look at it, right? We have to think about it because in order for us to figure out the logistics, we have to figure out if there's even going to be a dance partner that's willing and needing a quarterback. So, Dave, I'll come to you. Do you anybody off the top of your head, okay, that right away says, let's leave the Colts out of it, okay, because everybody's going to say the Colts. So let's leave Frank Reich and the Colts out of it. Any other team you think that would be lining up to try to trade for Carson Wentz?
I think I might be stealing this one, but, you told me not to say the Colts. I'm going to go with the Raiders and John Gruden. I think that's an interesting one. The other one, who is a dark horse, obviously, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I like that's interesting. That's absolutely interesting.
Brady goes on to win playoffs and maybe he wins a Super Bowl, which is obviously a very far-fetched at this point, but maybe that happens and he sails off in the sunset and Bruce Arians sticks around and they get Carson Wentz.
It's possible.
I like that. Mike,
sure.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, yeah, okay. So the Colts obviously is the easy answer because everybody wants to assume that Carson Wentz and Frank Reich just love each other. What if that's not even true?
Exactly.
I love when we run with these rumors. We have no idea what we're talking about, but it fits the narrative. What about Chicago? What about Chicago?
That's a good point. Trevor's checking in. He said the same thing. He saw about Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. I mean, maybe even Denver. I don't think anybody's talking about Denver or Chicago, but they both they could desperately use a quarterback.
Our boy Al just checked in. Said the same thing. Denver.
Yeah.
Denver, Patriots, Jets, Jags.
Plenty of I mean, yeah, there's plenty of spots for Carson Wentz to land. I mean, because all these teams that Al mentioned, Patriots. I mean, John talks about ship him up to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can certainly use a quarterback. I mean, is that the end of Big Ben? Is he finished? I mean, they would take him.
I think, John, Pittsburgh. Well, I mean, obviously, it said Ben says he wants to play out next year already. He's already talking about next year. But, what do you think?
You still on the Wentz wagon, John? Are you still on
Ben has been talking about retiring for 10 years. All right. As long as he plays, I want him as my quarterback. But one of these years,
what if he doesn't?
Be playing. What's that?
What if he doesn't? Are you on the Wentz wagon after everything you've seen this year? I mean,
yes, I would love to get Wentz on the team. He reminded me of a younger Ben Roethlisberger. Watching him play, there's obviously something wrong with him, but could Mike Tomlin in this culture that they have in Pittsburgh with the leadership they have, could that mold him and fix whatever the problem is? Nobody knows, But when you have a quarterback like Wentz that you could get at a discount because of what he's gone through, and you see what he's capable of, you take a shot on that because, I mean, in reality, just in all honesty, Tomlin has never had a losing season. We're not picking top 10. So where are you getting a quarterback from?
That's true. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Have you – I mean, I don't know if you read the piece that Marcus Hayes put out from the Inquirer, but he talked about – Wentz should just be a better teammate and just keep quiet because that's when that story broke that he was demanding being traded, that he wasn't going to be a backup and things like that, which is, obviously a very big distraction for a young man like Hurts in his second start, which is obviously a really big deal. I mean, being a better teammate would to not be say that. And the Wentz camp did not deny it. So what do you think of that? I mean, he's shown a lot of stuff that, nobody ever questions his grittiness and his toughness and things like that. But, that was I think that was a little shocking. I never expected him to say that. And again, I don't know if he said it or not, but if he did, a little bit of a hit to his character and what I thought he was made of.
It's funny because that did come out and then literally, and I think this is how this worked, about 2 hours later, a report came out refuting it. Rob Motti, who does for 97.5 The Fanatic. And he has a lot of radio shows. Good dude. I like Rob. He's a very religious guy. So he saw, he's a Carson guy, but that's fine. He went right to the agent to get a statement that came out that said the Carson never said Carson that he will be whatever team he needs to be. If he needs to be the backup, he'll be a backup. So, again, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
But go back to our previous statement. If he wants to be a backup, then he shouldn't be playing. I'm sorry.
True.
Right? You need to be starting. You really do.
Especially when he's a starter. He's got to. Yep. Even just a contract alone, no one's gonna. That doesn't make any sense financially to have somebody getting paid that amount of money to be on the bench. So I'm with you, Tone. Both of them cannot coexist.
No, they can't. And I'll tell you what, a team that nobody's talking about. And I know, again, Patriots. Andre checked it on Twitter earlier. He hit me up with the Patriots. Obviously. That's a good fit. You think about it. Al says in all the cap space too. McClain says he can't go to the Colts. If the Colts go on to win with Reich and Wentz, that makes our front office a coach look awful. Egos are too big here.
I agree with that. That's a really
great statement. I like that.
It's very interesting.
I like that, Dave. That's a good thought.
So that's interesting. What about if the Colts offered us the best package for that? You think that the egos would still get in the way? I like that, Dave. That sounds pretty interesting.
And I don't ever see Howie Roseman letting that get in the way. That guy, the trades that he has made some really good trades, and let's give him credit. He seems to make trades and get people for nothing, and he gets pretty good value. Not in the draft, obviously. We won't have to point that out again, but I don't think so, Dave. I think maybe if he was offered something, maybe he would get past his ego because he would think that, he would be able to beat them in a trade and ultimately he would look better in the long run anyway. So I'm going to say no.
I hope that happens.
I'll tell you what, the sleeper team that nobody's talking about to me is the Detroit Lions. And
quietly.
And I'll tell you why. Because I feel their GM is going to be Louis Riddick. And Louis Riddick is a Philly guy.
To be somebody's GM.
Yep, sure. and he's already interviewed, and I think he's going to get the job. And he likes Carson, and they're already talking about moving on from Matt Stafford. He's getting up there. They're talking about starting over. So I would not be surprised if the Lions are a good fit. I mean, listen. I'm going to tell you what. For everybody listening to this show, whether it be live or listening on podcast playback. Just remember something. I know you're probably sitting there like, I can't believe these guys are talking about. Listen, I get it. Listen, I don't want to think about this either. I don't. Right? I don't. I hate it. I really do. I hate that we're back in this mode
hour
again.
And 15 minutes, by the way.
Right? But it dominates the conversation, man.
I know.
It dominates, and we're all passionate about it. The comments are flying in about it. People want to talk about it, and
we haven't said enough. We have more to say. We could sit here for 3 hours and talk about this.
We could, and we could come up with all different scenarios as well, which is fantastic. But let me ask you this: let's stick on the NFL before we move off. Two topics. Number one, I'm going to go right to you, John. you're on a downward spiral, bro. I'll tell you what. I watched that Pittsburgh team last night, and they did not look good. Now I don't know you. I'll give you credit though. You're a Pittsburgh guy, and you consistently told me when I was getting excited and saying, "Wow," you were like, "I don't know, man. You know, they have some holes. You know, they got some injuries." So
He did say that,
right? And he did. You were very, very. You know, you were. What did you say? Tempered. You were very tempered. Like you told me to temper my expectations, right? What's going on in Pittsburgh? Can this be turned around? Do you think that they have a serious problem with the offensive line not being able to run the ball? What can we expect going forward from the Steelers?
I don't think anybody knows. I mean, if we knew what to expect, we wouldn't have expected, these past 3 games. You would have expected a turnaround the second game or the third. I mean, this goes 5 games back. Even their last 2 wins were poor played games against a depleted Ray played the week before that. They've played like trash. I mean, they should be 0-5 in those games, not 2-3. So this is not something new, but they have not been able to fix it week after week after week. There are no holes for you could say James Conner out. Even when they said, Conner and Pouncey are coming back, I'm like, they were here for half the season. That's not gonna. They weren't opening holes then. Just because they're back, they're not going to start opening holes. There is not. They'll try to run it like a out wide 2-yard loss. They try to go up the middle. There's no hole. Like it's the running game's not there. And the offense is too predictable. I think Doug Peterson. They tried to do a jet sweep with Chase Claypool. The minute the defense sees that, they know what they're doing. Boom, they hone in on it for a 2-yard loss. So the offense is getting very predictable. The linebackers don't have to respect the run, so they're sitting there. Now you got 7, 8 guys sitting there in pass protection within that first 3 yards, which is where Ben's going to go, so they can just start jumping the routes. Couple that with the drops that they're having by the Ebron and Deontay Johnson. I mean, it's a disaster. And the biggest thing of Ben of yesteryear, and I mean, yes, he's getting there up in age, but this year more than any other year, he has not been able to shed tacklers. Right. And I don't want to say that he's scared, but he doesn't want to get hit. And he can't escape this, and the pressure's coming. So he has to get those balls out quickly. But they got to start taking more shots. Look, he wasn't even seeing the field good. There's a couple times. I mean, there were guys that were open, and he was throwing into double coverage when there were other places he should have went. I mean, his passes were off from the first pass of the game.
Yes.
I mean, he was just off. I mean,
and Washington had him beat. That's a touchdown.
Yep. Ben played very poorly. Like he's on himself where I should have put the ball in a better position, but the receiver still should have dropped it. But this past game, he just played bad, plain and simple. So, I mean, the stats were there. I mean, it was the worst game that he had in 10 years. Okay, it happens. But I don't know how they're going to right the ship. If you could open holes on that offensive line to run the ball through, you would think that they would have done it once in the past 5 games or come up with some type of play calling of trickery. It doesn't have to be standard runs, but it has to be something that you could still bank on getting these yards.
Yeah, Andre says they know Pittsburgh has a quarterback that's become a statue. And if you prepare well enough, defenses can elevate this time of the season. Sure, Ben can't move, man. Ben, I'm looking at Ben going, wow. I mean, he was always a big dude, but he's laboring, man. He is laboring. So, I think he really has to really think about what he wants to do going forward. But let's stick to the AFC, John, because, a team that I've been on since day one, I picked to win the AFC East, which was the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
And they're as hot as anybody right now.
Yeah, they are.
So I want to ask you guys, Mike, I'll go right to you because I honestly think that if anybody can upstage the Kansas City Chiefs, it can be the Buffalo Bills. And number one, it's teacher and student, right? Andy Reid, Sean McDermott. They both have the quarterback. but the defense in Buffalo is better than the defense in Kansas City. So I really, really like what Buffalo has done. We talked about, me and Dave talked about it earlier. I mean, to see what they did in a year and a half going out. And that's why when everybody said I was nuts, and I know it was OBJ, but it was just the fact of the kind of receiver when I was like, I would definitely trade my first round pick or my second round pick for an established guy. Look what they did with Stephon Diggs. He's the best. He's statistically the best receiver in football right now. Right, so they go out and sign Cole Beasley, who is one of the most sure-handed receivers in the National Football League. And then they draft Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie, two guys, number one. One guy can play all different positions, and it's a gadget guy. So, they have done so much. I'm excited about Buffalo. Mike, I think Buffalo right now can represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. What do you think?
I don't disagree. Josh Allen looks super, super, super comfortable in that offense. And, the trade for Diggs was pretty much changed the entire team, right? I mean, it changed everything.
Yep.
So why wouldn't they be? It looks like they're the best. I mean, Josh Allen, to me, looks like he's probably one of the best quarterbacks next to Mahomes, which is crazy to even think. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, but if this kid keeps playing the way that he is, man, he's got that calm demeanor. He looks like he's totally involved in an offense which was built for him. I mean, he's playing with the best of them. He's playing at a high level right now. And Diggs, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, I do remember all the hype that came out about Diggs when he was on Minnesota, and he just never really lived up to that expectation. He was good. He was okay, but he's dominant now.
He is. And Dave's got a great point here. Dave's on fire. McLean's on fire tonight. He says, could the Diggs for Jefferson trade be one of the best one-for-one trades in history? Neither team would take that back. That's so damn true. Because Stephon Diggs they didn't want to pay Stephon Diggs in Minnesota. And what do? They trade him, and they wind up drafting Justin Jefferson, an affordable contract for the next 4 years. And he's already one of the best receivers in the NFL. So it is a tremendous trade for both parties.
It's crazy. It's amazing value, and you never see that work out like that, right? No. It's very, very rare. But back to Buffalo though. Allen is super comfortable. He spreads the ball around a lot. Like McNabb used to spread the ball around a lot. I know we keep going back to McNabb, but McNabb would dish that ball off to 8 or 10 different people, and Josh Allen seems to be doing the same thing. They've got really good coaching. They've got an amazing system, and they're getting experience now. And why wouldn't they be able to go ahead and why couldn't they represent the AFC? I mean, Kansas City's clearly beatable. We know that. They can be beat.
I completely agree.
I agree with you, man. I think they're a powerhouse.
What do you think, Dave?
Well, I think the MVP of that team is Cole Beasley.
Wow.
I think what he does for that offense and the amount of catches and his not. I don't have his stats in front of me. I don't even know what they are. Honestly, I haven't even looked at them. But what he does for them, how he opens up that offense, and I know Diggs is the guy that lights it up downfield. But having that security blanket for Josh Allen, being able to hit him, and just comfortably dump the ball or in the slot, or everything he does has just, I think, made Josh Allen's game elevate to the next level.
Who's it remind you of?
Wes Welker.
There it is.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
Yep.
Absolutely, man. And another guy, Dave, that we're forgetting is John Brown. And we're forgetting him because he's been injured.
We always forget about him.
Right, but he's a number 2 receiver on that team.
Crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's how good. I mean, it is. I'll tell you, man. I absolutely think that they can take the AFC. I do. Andre says Bills have the firepower to hang around with Casey, and that's dangerous. If a game is close between them and the Bills, they have the edge on defense. Exactly.
Yep.
Right? Exactly. Dan says, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Diggs was a 5th-round pick. Look at that. Stephon Diggs, that's great. David says, is it me or did Josh Allen go from one of the least accurate passes in the league to a sniper? Yes. It's not you. They worked. I watched the thing about him. If you actually, it's amazing. But if you go back and dig up some footage of Josh Allen last year and this year and pause where he releases the ball with the way he doesn't arch his back anymore and he doesn't lean all the way back and his forward motion with his leg, it's completely different. So I forget, I can't remember. I want to give him credit. The guy who worked with him. There was
it's not Ken Dorsey, is it?
No, but there's an NFL. I wish I knew. Somebody worked with him specifically all season, and they redid his mechanics, and that's why he's been so good. Really, Dan says, don't sleep on Tennessee.
No, you can't.
You're right. When you got Mike Vrabel, you can't sleep on Tennessee.
You can't. No,
right?
You can't sleep on Derrick Henry because what he's doing is just disgusting. His stiff arms are just flat out disrespectful. He's Christian Okoye reborn, dude. This guy's a monster. He's a monster. It's almost unfair.
Yeah, you're right. It is almost unfair.
Clovis quarterback coach Greg Pinelli, is that the guy that worked with Bills Josh Allen?
It might have been. It might have been. Al says Bills have played well all season but can't run the ball. That is true. You need to control the ball against KC. It's a good point. With Singletary and Zach Moss, they haven't run the ball great, but you never know. Come playoff time, that's a great point by Al because we all said this. Come playoff time, you win by running the ball and playing good defense. No matter what, that's how you win. And if you can't do that, you're not going to win football games. So, John, I didn't even get to you. Buffalo Bills, you think they could take the AFC?
Yeah, they could. I'm still picking Pittsburgh, but they'll be out in the first round. Kansas City's still the team to beat. And good points on the running. I mean, neither of them really have that much of a running game in reality. But Buffalo's defense is a little tougher. But I mean, I don't know how much I would. If it's going to be a close game, my money's on Mahomes to get that game winner more than Josh Allen. Josh Allen puts up good stats, but when they're up 13 points. I mean, that's just padding, that's icing on the cake. So I go Mahomes.
Yeah, it's a good point. Going to experience, for sure. But if anybody, I think, can give them a run for their money, it's definitely them. Was that? And hopefully they won't choke. They won't choke like the Buffalo Bills. What's that Ice Cube track? Remember, Jacking for Beats? Remember that line he throws in there?
Jacking for Beats. That's on.
I'm the one with the fat mad skills, and I won't choke like the Buffalo Bills.
That was when Marv Levy was Marv Levy. They were losing all. Scott Norwood. Just missed right.
Scott Norwood, Marv Levy. Who else was on that squad? Who was the running back? Thurman Thomas.
Who was
the
Jim Kelly
receiver? Oh, Jim Kelly.
Andre Reed was the quarterback. Jim Kelly. James Lofton.
That was
Don Beebe.
Don Beebe.
Right? The other defense was pretty sick too.
Yeah, Bruce Smith. Shane Conlon.
Yes.
They had Cornelius Bennett.
That's Cornelius Bennett.
That's right.
Yeah. Who was in there? Can you name somebody off their secondary? I'm trying to think. I can't name a safety or a corner on that team.
I want to say. I forget.
I'm drawing a blank, man.
I just Googled Don Beebe as his photo that comes up. I mean, it looks like a salesman, like a software salesman.
His son's playing for Minnesota. Jack Beebe.
Jack Beebe, I saw that.
Yeah, but I can't think of anybody, Dave. We'll have to look that up.
There's definitely a safety or something.
Yeah, there's somebody we're missing. There's a pretty reputable guy that was on that Buffalo team, and I just can't.
The one guy that had that helmet on was Kelso. Had that crazy helmet. He was a safety at one point, I think, or a special team. Remember, he had that soft helmet. Kelso, he's a white guy.
Yeah, I remember. I know who you're talking about. Bills 0-4 in a Super Bowl. Andre says, "Ain't that the truth?" KC thinks they're going back to back. Andre Thurman. Yep, Thurman Thomas mentioned him. We mentioned Bruce Smith, the Reverend Bruce Smith on defense, right? I can't think, man. We're going to Google that. But again, listen. One thing's for sure: this NFL postseason going to be fun. There's a lot. Dave says, "Can we just skip the NFC and go poor Aaron Rodgers and go all AFC?" Right? But and listen, don't sleep again. Don't sleep on the Bucs. I understand that they don't look like they're all there at times, but They have the pieces. Oh, there's a good name. Andre just said Darryl Talley. That was another good linebacker on that team.
Number 56.
Yeah, man.
Middle
he was the one who wore the
linebacker.
big neck pads. Remember?
Yeah.
Wow, look at Dan check. There's a name. Kenneth Davis, Thurman Thomas's backup. See, I love when we do this, man. You talk. It shows you how much the people that follow us and our show.
I think
we all have some knowledge, man. It's
Kenneth
great.
Davis had to start one of the Super Bowls because Thurman Thomas couldn't find his helmet on the sideline.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty positive it was Kenneth Davis. It was his backup running
Kenneth
back. Yeah.
Davis.
He had
Who
to
was the
start-
tight end on that team?
Oh man, I can picture him. He's a
I
big
know.
old, like number 88 or something.
Yeah, I can't think oh my Lord, that'll be a good one. Dan, I know you're an encyclopedia, brother. So if you know that, hit us up. But guys, let's transition real fast because I don't really care about the NFL playoff push. I mean, yeah, we care about it, but I think we talked about what we really want to talk about. It'll be nice in a couple weeks to see where it all breaks down, and one good thing is this week we got games on Friday, we had games on Saturday, games on Sunday. I mean, for the holidays, which is fantastic. But tonight, as we do this podcast, the NBA has tipped off. And again, if you're on the West Coast, you're on the East Coast, you get to watch a great West Coast game tonight with the LA against LA connection, the Clippers against the Lakers, which is going to be a fantastic game. First game was, Golden State and the Nets. So again, I don't want to get into, we talked about MVPs and big threes of that nature, but I'm just curious, and this could be anything. It could be a team. It could be a player. It could be a scenario. Just, anything. Maybe you think somebody's going to get fired. Maybe a team that they think is going to be really good is going to be really bad. Just any kind of bold NBA prediction that you have. And it doesn't even have to be this year. This could be a prediction of a specific player, a specific element. Like, I'll tell you right now. My bold prediction when we talk NBA is that the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis will never win a championship. That will be a wasted deal to me. They will never win a championship. And this year, I think another bold prediction, Steph Curry is going to finish in the top 3 for MVP voting this year. He's coming back with a vengeance this year. People are forgetting about him, and the resurgence of John Wall will be something we will all be excited about. There's a reason why the man was called the one-man fast break for a reason. He looked really good in the preseason. I'm very excited to see. So, Coach Dave, do you have any NBA bowl predictions? What are you thinking, man?
Well, I'm excited for the season. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I'm interested to see Kyrie and KD play together. Bold prediction. I think the Denver Nuggets finish first in the West.
Ooh, I love that. I love Denver.
Yeah, I'm going to pick them to be number 1. That's my bold prediction.
I like that because a lot of people, I mean, listen, we like Denver. We've seen a tremendous team in the bubble. Jamal Murray really grew up in that bubble, man.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter Jr., Jokic. I mean, that team is stacked, man.
No one knows about them.
No, and nobody talks about it. They just get it done.
Yeah.
They just get it done, right? So that's a cool one. I like that. Goose, you got any NBA bowl predictions?
Man, I'm just super curious to see what's going to happen with this whole trade. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many rumors floating around right now on the trade, and honestly, I can't even put my head into the NBA until I figure out if the Sixers are going to have a team or not. And I don't know what's going on. Who are they rolling with? And every season we hear all these crazy trades, right? But this morning they said, I heard that they were working on, who knows if it's true or not, a big 3-team trade, a bunch of people involved. You got Simmons, you got Harden, you got our new draft pick. I mean, it's hard to really wrap my mind and start thinking about the NBA right now because I've been super excited and super kind of caught up with the Eagles stuff. But until that trade happens, I'm not going to put any of my mental bandwidth onto the NBA. I just don't know what's going to happen.
I agree. What I will say is that the thing I'm disappointed about is exactly what you said because, we did have a historic all season. We had did things that we didn't know we could do, right?
Sure.
Right, with Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, the trades of Al Horford, the draft of the signings, just tons of it.
So just finish.
Right. Me, Al, Andre had a great show about it. Those guys really brought it. They got a lot of knowledge. It's great. And it's disappointing that it's kind of being overtaken now. As much as I would trade Ben Simmons. I would. I've said that before, but
yes.
It just stinks that it's overshadowing the beginning of the NBA season. Like, we're excited, man. Like, tomorrow night, tip-off, Sixers, Wizards. I mean, let's go, man. Let's see this new team. And all we got to keep hearing about is Ben Simmons included in the deal. Ben Simmons is getting talked about. Let's just play, man. Let's just play. If you were going to do that, you should have done it before the season started. That's or wait till the trade deadline halfway. But it's just killing my mojo, man. It's just killing my mojo. Andre says, my bold prediction is that if Harden doesn't get traded soon, he will be suspended for violating COVID protocols. He's treading on the rules like a spoiled child. That's a good one, man. Listen, him and Dwayne Haskins decided to go up to the strip club, making it rain, right? When they're really not benefiting anybody right there. Andre says Nets. So we're not watching the game live as we're doing the show. He says Nets first carry was 5-on-1 all game. I could see that. Who else you covering on Golden State?
Pretty much.
Right? I mean, think about it.
That about wraps it up.
Right,
yep.
Exactly. So that's a good one. Andre also says, Dave, he said that's bold AF. We know what that AF means. That's some Vegas stuff right there. So that means you need to go bet on black, bro. That's what that means when they say bet the house on black.
Always bet on black.
Always bet on black. Go for it, brother. Go vote on Vegas, man. Throw that bet in. Al says, I'm watching the Lakers getting their rings right now. This has to be us in 2 to 4 years. Al, I certainly hope so. Because guess what? In 4 years, Joel Embiid probably won't be able to walk. Okay, so honestly, because he's going to be so out of shape.
He's going to be working at Chick-fil-A with your family.
My daughter will be training him. Dave says, not so bold NBA prediction. Ben and Joel still can't coexist. Their offensive games are elite in the same 10 square foot area under the basket. Embiid clogs the lane that Ben needs to score in. Embiid ends up on the wing where he stinks. This can't keep going.
He's right. He's totally right.
Roll tonight, man.
He's totally right. I mean, how's that for a call? We got to go back to the old Public Enemy line. Simple and plain. Give me the lane. I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley. Bring Charles back. Bring Charles back.
I love it, man. It's so true.
Soft.
It's so true, man. That's great. That's a great comment. Very comment. Dan says Brooklyn looked great tonight in a blowout win. I heard Kyrie was on point, man.
Big time.
Andre says, I hate that that's accurately put, Tony. I agree, man. I like Dave's on point. I hate it. Dave's been on point tonight. I love it. Dave McClain checking in, long time follower, man. I'm glad to have you back, Dave. You were gone for like months. Like I didn't see you. Yeah, you were all over PI, then you left us, and now you're back. I'm glad. Keep following us, man. I love your stuff. John, bold prediction, NBA. What you got, buddy?
Let's hear it.
The Sixers get ousted in the playoffs by the Celtics.
That's a bold prediction.
Deja vu, bold prediction. Call it what you will.
I love
what
it.
round?
What round, John?
My crystal ball doesn't tell me all that. Okay.
I love it. So listen, one thing's for sure. Can't wait for the NBA. It's exciting. We're going to give us a lot to talk about. And again, if whoever's Mets is tomorrow night, but any listeners out there, Heat Ratio Sports, NBA, Fantasy DFS League. Get into it, man. DraftKings, we're up to, I think, 15 people. It doesn't start. We're not starting it until the following Friday. It's only going, just so everybody knows, it's only going to be played on Friday night. So there is no weekly lineups. There's nothing. Every Friday, you log into DraftKings, you put your players in, and you roll. That's it. You win that night. Nothing else, nothing less. We're going to play as a bunch of people. Top 3 guys will cash in. If we have 50 people play, it's $250 cash, divided between 3 guys. So it'll be competitive. I've had a lot of people reach out, so it'll be fun. So if you can, give me your email if you want to get in, and I'll shoot you the invite. It'll be a fun thing. John's John's bold prediction. Dan says Pittsburgh gets an NBA expansion team.
Never.
I love it. I love it, man. Look. Al says, can the season start before people start complaining? Al, you know that's never going to happen, man.
No.
You know that's never going to happen. So, listen, we're going to do John. We're going good with time here. So, we're going to, but before we do John's CD shelf, what's on John's CD shelf, we got a new segment, Turning Up the Heat. Now, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I have a wheel. And this wheel, I'm going to put on the screen in a minute, and it's a random thing from sports teams to music albums. And each of us, all four of us, is going to get a spin. And when we spin, we're going to have, as soon as it lands on that wheel, we're going to have 30 seconds to tell you the first image, the first thought, whatever comes to our mind. Could be a player, a coach, a play, could be a song, anything. A memory. Who knows? Just something to have a little fun with.
Just word association.
Yeah,
that's it.
anything, man. It could be. this is what's fun with it. You do whatever you want. So here's the wheel. This is going to be interesting. And Goose, I'm going to give you the first crack here.
Oh, great.
All right. So everybody see that. There's the wheel. Okay, so on that wheel right here, we got the Atlanta Braves, we got the Chicago Blackhawks, we got Bobby Brown's album, My Prerogative, we got the Sacramento Kings, Big Pun's Capital Punishment, Toronto Blue Jays, Little Appetite for Destruction from GNR, the Phoenix Suns, the Houston Oilers, and the Candyman first album. Okay, so we're going to give this a spin, and Googs, wherever it lands, Dan wants Andre and Dan to get a spin. We could do that. We're enjoying. Whoever wants to spin, we're gonna get a spin. So, Mike, we'll give you the first spin, and let's see. And here we go. So, wherever it lands.
Let's see here.
Oh, Phoenix Suns. Mike lands on the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix. Okay.
First thing that comes to mind when we talk about the Phoenix Suns.
Dan Marley?
Wow. Thunder Dan. I like it. It's just great. Think about it, right? The first thing, I love it, man. I love it. Right away we get a Thunder Dan reference.
His weird looking mug, just staring at you, Dan Marley.
Well, he just did look. He looked like a guy who worked at Heckinger's selling like plumbing pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
When he was hitting threes.
Excuse me. Which way are the drills? Yeah. I can say this one's got 1.75 horsepower. That's what he reminds you of. Yeah, somebody is standing in the line of Heckinger or Home Depot or
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nice.
Andre says Charles Barkley going there, so that's good. Yeah, listen,
that's a nightmare. We don't want to talk about that lopsided trade. Who was involved in that trade?
Oh, Tim Perry.
Who else? Andrew Lang? Wasn't it Andrew
Lang?
Andrew Lang.
Great pull, dude. Andrew Lang.
Yeah, Tim Perry, Andrew Lang, and Jeff Hornacek.
Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah.
Yes. And Jeff was a sniper.
Yeah, he was.
He was a sniper for a while.
I hated that trade.
See, Dan's thinking where I was. I was thinking Paul Westphal. Right? Dave, go ahead, Dave. You think first thing comes to mind, Phoenix Suns?
I would definitely pick Charles Barkley.
I like it. John?
Losing to the Bulls in the play and the championship.
Game 6. John Paxson hitting that three.
Boom.
John, you got anything for the Phoenix Suns?
I was Marley right off. That was a gimme, and Barkley would have been too. And then I'm out of answers.
Well, Dave says Suns poster in my room with Barkley, Marley, and KJ. Wow, I like
Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson. That's a kid. Andre checking it. Kevin Johnson with the left-handed poster dunk. I love it, man. So I love these things. All right, Dave. Dave, you're up next. Al says KJ too. So KJ's a good one, man. How about I'll throw this one out there real fast. How about Tom Chambers? I forget about Tom Chambers.
Yeah.
Talk about a Heckinger salesman. There's a dude who's working at the local Dunkin' Donuts.
Him and Don Beebe.
Selling wraps. All right, Dave. Here you go, Dave. Coach Dave on the clock. What's Coach Dave? It's spinning around it. Sacramento Kings, Dave. That's a tough one, man.
I know where he's going to go. I know where he's going.
Chris Webber.
Oh, C-Web.
Very nice.
I like that.
Sacramento had what was his? Jason Williams, right? White
Yep.
chocolate.
White
Stojakovic.
chocolate.
Yeah, they had a team.
Yes.
They had
Peja.
Peja Stoyak, very good, Michael. Yep.
Yeah.
They were fun to watch, man. Sacramento, they were a great team.
How about
Who
how
else
about
who else
Haidu
was-
Turkoglu?
I was just going to say, who was that big stiff in the middle? He called it. You pulled it right out.
Haidu
Turkoglu.
Turkoglu.
Haidu Turkoglu.
Wow. Didn't they have Vladi too, or not? Did
Yeah, they have Vlade
Yeah,
Divac.
they have Vlade Divac. Yeah.
Was
I
that
like
the
that
rise?
team.
Was that the rise of Vladi, or was he a Laker first?
He was a Laker first, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Andre now checking on that, but I'm pretty sure he was a Laker first.
Divac. Nice.
There was another guy I'm thinking of that.
That was on that squad?
Yeah, I don't know if he was on the squad. I'm thinking number 20. He was a guard. Bobby Jackson?
No, Mike Bibby.
Mike
wow.
Bibby. That's another good one. Mike Bibby.
Yeah, it was Mike
Wow.
Yeah, Mike Bibby, man. Wow.
So their starting five during their run was Vladi, Weber, Jason Williams, Pages. I think Page was their small forward, and we're missing somebody. With
Bibby. Yeah,
Bibby.
I don't think White Chocolate played with Bibby. No,
No, I don't think he
I
did.
think they were two different
We're mixing
eras.
up genres there. Yeah, we're mixing up eras. Yeah.
But Page was a
Page
sniper,
Stojakovic.
dude.
Yeah, he was a stud. He was a forward. I guess Chris Webber was your power forward, and Page was your. Maybe he was the two. I don't know. I forget.
I'll tell you what, though, there's not a lot of fond memories of Sacramento. That's for damn sure. When you think about it, really not, man. Like, really not. Andre says Sacramento tried to sue the networks when they had Weber for airtime, hating on the two team in L.A. Interesting. Everybody wanted a little C-Web, man. Fab Five. All right, come on, Dave. Fab Five. Who were they? Who was the Fab Five?
Well, I was Howard, Weber, Jackson, Jalen Rose,
Everybody forgets this one.
and I forget.
Jimmy King?
Jimmy King. Yeah, it was Jimmy King.
Well, it's Jimmy King, right?
I think so.
Dave, how do we forget about this one? Dave pulled out Mitch Richmond. McLean is on fire tonight. Mitch Richmond. How do you forget about Mitch Richmond?
I don't think he was on that same team, though, Mitch Richmond.
No, but I'm just saying, like, just as a Sacramento reference, I mean, that was good, man. I like that. Good job, Dave. I forgot all about Mitch Richmond. It was. Dan says it was King, so it must have been Jimmy King. All right, John. John, you're up. John's getting the spin on the wheel here. Let's see where we go.
I'll make this quick. I probably have nothing.
Oh, come on, John. You got the Candyman album.
The Candyman album.
Thank God I didn't get that one.
I'm speechless.
Oh, come on, man.
You say Candyman, I say the movie Candyman.
No.
That's what that.
Knocking Boots.
Yeah, that's the only song that I know.
That's okay.
John,
That's
I'm sure
all
it's in your seat rack. Just go and get it.
Yes. Tone
That
Loc.
is not in
Attention, all ladies. The Candyman is on the prowl. Those who want to get with me, you got to speak up now. Right, I was told right in this rhyme this time is one of a kind, blowing your mind like only the Candyman can.
He's
There you
going
go.
off.
I could just keep going, man.
Throw
I
him a
love
beat,
it.
John. Throw him a beat. Let him rip it.
Yeah, beatbox. Give me that beatbox, John. Yeah.
No, we're not even attempting that.
I don't know what else to say about the Candyman except that was
That's all there is. Like
that's it. I can't.
That's it.
I can't name another song off that album.
Nobody can. It's not just you guys. Nobody can name another song. Nobody even knows anything about that guy outside of that one song. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just so stupid. Look at it. It's so odd looking. At one point, I looked at it. I'm like, is that Twister? What is that?
I thought it was Doug Peterson.
Ice cream. Andre says
Yes, ice
basement
cream.
party.
We have some ice cream.
Andre, is that a song or did you have basement parties with Candyman?
I think he's talking about what he was, what we all did back then. Basement parties,
right.
with Candyman pumping.
Yeah, what Dan says Candyman on my category.
Nice.
He knows that. I'm gonna give myself a spin here.
All right,
let's
do
see
it.
where I go before we get to a couple of listeners here. Let's see if we can get something that nobody got yet. You gotta
go there.
Bobby Brown,
You got to go there.
the Don't Be Cruel album.
That's right.
Let me tell you something. The first thing I could tell you that I remember, first thing that comes to my mind, is him getting arrested for dry humping some chick on stage to Tenderoni. I remember like it was all over the news that he got thrown out, the girl got thrown out. But dude, that album, I remember it was a cassette deck. At that time, I had my little AM/FM Walkman, and I must have listened to My Prerogative and Don't Be Cruel a million times until I knew every damn lyric to that song, man, to both of them. I mean, and that was a great album, too. When you think about that debut album, that everybody was rocking that, man. That was a great album, man. I'm going to get, and you guys think, without looking, what year do you think that was? I honestly don't know.
It's funny with that all 88. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, that kind of, I don't know, for whatever 80s, reason,
right?
I sort of tuned out around then with some of the Bobby Brown stuff. I mean, I had some of the stuff, My Prerogative and that kind, but it wasn't the kind of stuff that I listened to. I didn't really get into R&B until later in the 90s.
Dan says his prerogative to dry hump.
It certainly was his prerogative to dry hump anybody. It was just a different time back then, I guess.
My first thought when it comes to Bobby Brown is that he killed Whitney Houston.
Ooh.
Some Midwest state that never seen anything like this before. He had a couch on stage. Yeah, could you imagine Andre, him rolling up a couch in Nebraska? They were probably like, lock this guy up. He's crazy.
Well, you know what? You know what's funny, Dave, about what you're saying? It's actually the opposite.
What do you mean?
It was Whitney who ruined Bobby.
Yeah, and people don't know that true story. Yeah,
yes, dude. True. You think I'm kidding?
That dude would introduce drugs into her life.
Listen, man. Listen, bro. She was from a bad part of Jersey, man. Let me tell you something. She was a little hardcore herself. So that wasn't all Bobby. I'm telling you, that wasn't all Bobby. I'm not listening. I'm just saying.
Two to tango. I get that.
Sounds like there's a PR press. There's some damage control on the side of Tony now. They say, listen, we don't represent Mr. Brown here, but we want to clear the record. It was not all him.
Yes, I have to. I gotta make a claim here. You know what I mean? I gotta help him out.
That's for
Dave
sure.
says I just remember he had Whitney and someone else pregnant at the same time.
He was a mess.
He
was a complete mess.
Al says that haircut, and he's right. That haircut, the Gumby cut, man, the Armin Gilliam. The Armin Gilliam cut, man.
Armin Gilliam.
Remember that?
The Gumby cut.
The hammer.
Wow.
Armin, the hammer, Gilliam.
I love it.
Oh, man, that was great. All right, Dan. We got Dan Green. Dan, I know you're watching. Dan, you're up, brother. Here's your spin. So Dan Green is on the clock. Dan Green gets a spin, and Dan Green.
Oh, God. Gotta give him a respin.
We're gonna have to spin again.
Respin. Yep.
Yeah, respin because we got that one already. So Dan, we're up again. I hope Dan gets big pun.
I hope he gets the Houston Oilers. That's not gonna happen.
That's a good one.
I know what he's gonna
Blue
say.
Jays.
We know what he's gonna say.
Yeah.
Dan Green, Toronto Blue Jays. First thing to come to your mind with the Toronto Blue Jays.
We know it's coming.
Just see, Al's helped me out here. He backs up. 100% true. Wasn't all Bobby. Yeah. Listen, she had some skeletons in her closet, bro. Let me tell you. So Dan gets the Toronto Blue Jays, and while Dan's thinking of his Toronto Blue Jays, I'm gonna give you a spin for Al. Al, you're getting the spin next. So Al is going to get. We gotta give Al something good here. Al gets.
Oh, you gave him big pun. You gave him big pun.
Yeah, we just gave him a softball. So, Al, you got big pun, man.
This is a grapefruit. Punishment. The grapefruit coming right over the plate.
Oh, look at Dan Green says Danny Ainge. Danny, wow.
Toronto Blue Jay. Yeah, he got cut by them and then became a Celtic.
and then Dan says Joe Carter, not yet.
I know that was coming.
Oh, yeah, it's the worst.
Think about where you were when you saw that.
Well, Al says Doc. First thing that comes is Doc Holliday. Rest in peace, right?
Okay.
I'm going to say for some reason, and I don't know why, Cito Gaston is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Why?
I don't know. Like I can picture him with the old flashy starter jacket with the brim that wasn't bent, with the fro sticking out on his. I don't know. I just for some reason I remember Cito Gaston. I don't know. It's
that
weird.
Team was stacked, man.
John
was.
That's for sure.
It was.
John Olerud. Nice pull. Nice.
Oh. He was like the first person to ever wear a helmet in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
he
he was
had
the one who
something-
wore
he
the
had something
baseball
with
cap, right?
I don't know. He something with his helmet, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, he wore like a batting helmet in the field.
Yeah.
Dope.
Oh, here's a good one. So Dan
That's
says Jesse Barfield and his cannon arm. George Bell. Wow, man. George Bell. There were some where Toronto had some players of memory, man. David says, I can't think of his name, but the player who hit a home run on Father's Day after his dad passed away. Ooh.
Mm.
It wasn't Fielder, was it?
That was recent.
Was it recent?
That was like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe.
No love for Joey Bats? Nobody thinks of Joey Bats, man?
What the hell did Olerud have a helmet on in the field? I forgot about this. It looks so odd.
Al says, shake my head, can't remember a Big Pun song right now.
Oh, stop
Al, you're disappointing me, Al. I'm still not a player. Come on, man. It's like the number one song on that album. Oh, Al, you're killing me, man.
And then Al, come on, the deep cover.
Twins. I think it was called Twins. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a great Capital Punishment. That was a great album.
Yeah.
Andre says Big Pun freestyle with Mos Def and Cannabis at a random restaurant. Wow. Cannabis.
Is that true? Did that really happen? I never saw that. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, Andre, if you know where we can find that, or you have footage, man, I would definitely do that, man. I would look at that. Come on, deep cover with Fat Joe. Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah, exactly. Dave says Big Pun on that tiny ass scooter thing. Oh, man. Yeah, he's so right. In the video, he's got a little ass moped and he's 700 pounds. Like it looks so odd. Well, Dave's on fire tonight, man. I love it. He is on fire. Super lyrical. With Dan throwing something out there, you Google something.
What's happening there? Oh, yeah, guess what? I just picked it up on YouTube. There's apparently a video on there with Big Pun, Cannabis, DMX, Mos Def,
DMX,
and Mike Geronimo, and they're all sitting in a restaurant. It's like 55 minutes long, and apparently they're celebrating DMX's birthday. And I don't know if they just started freestyling or not, but I'm going to check it out after the.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'll send you the link. Pretty cool.
Yeah, he just said YouTube Big Pun and Cannabis.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out now. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, Andre, we're gonna give you a spin, Andre. You and Dave are getting spins because you've been with us all night. Then we're gonna go to John CD Wallet. Andre getting the Chicago Blackhawks.
That's interesting.
There's a couple names that come right to my head.
I can
with
think
the
of one.
Chicago Blackhawks. So he gets the Blackhawks, and David McLean, who's been on fire all night with the last spin of the night, is going to get. You know what? Beans is the next one up. We're going to give you the Atlanta Braves. We'll give you get the Atlanta Braves. So the Blackhawks for Andre and the Braves for McLean.
All right.
Oh, that should be interesting. What? Who's
that?
Stan Mikita. Who is that?
Who is Stan?
Help me out, bro. I have no idea who that is. Because Dan's a hockey guy. I have no idea.
Yeah, we're all weak with hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I could think of probably, I'll go. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Kane breaking our heart. Patrick Kane, absolutely.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane broke our hearts. Wow, nice pull there, Al. Stan Mikita was a Slavic-born Canadian professional ice hockey player for the Blackhawks in the 1960s.
Wow.
Jeez, he went deep.
That is deep. What about Eddie Belfour, man? I mean,
Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, and Mike Keenan.
And Mike Keenan and nobody, Eddie Belfour, great. Nobody said Jeremy Roenick.
That's another with Jeremy Roenick. Mm-hmm. How about Tony Amonte? He was a Blackhawk for a little while, I think.
So was Gordie Howe, wasn't he?
Yeah. Look. Yeah, legendary Blackhawk seriously played with Bobby Hull.
There you go.
Andres was getting into an argument with a hockey guy, and he kept yelling 6 rings at me at a Sixers game.
That's
I love it.
I'm sure you're in Philadelphia.
That is awesome, man. That's why I like doing these. That's awesome. All right, Dave. Come on, Dave. You got it. You got the Atlanta Braves. McLean, the Atlanta Braves. Hit us up. And while we're waiting, John, let's get ready for John CD. We're gonna go. We got 7 minutes left. We're gonna. Oh, he said Chris Chelios.
Oh yeah, nice
right.
one.
And no, he said no for Gordy. Gordie Howe did not play with him. Look at Dave's give. The Braves is easy. That dirty rat face fraud, Chipper Jones. Man, did I hate that dude. Wow.
Yeah, you hated him because he was a Phillies killer. We all hated him.
He was a stud.
Rat face.
You talk about the Braves. I think a Leo Mazzoni rocking back and forth like this on the bench. I think a Sid Bream, like he's running in quicksand, round in third base.
You know who they beat? You know who Sid Bream's slide beat? John?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Thank you very much.
I mean, can we make my day any worse? I mean,
Sorry, John.
The sad part is, this is not the first time I heard Sid Bream today. I kid you not.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Someone brought it up a couple of weeks ago, John. I remember. That's not the first time we talked about it.
We had to get both testicles in play here.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Andre says, does Chicago even have 6 chips? I don't even know. I have no idea. Dan Green, I know he'll check in on that. Al says 7-7. We're already going numbers. So let's get our numbers ready. Al's going 7-7.
Go up to 5.
Oh, yeah. Al, remember, we only go up to 5, right? 5. So give Al 5-7 then.
All right.
Are we shuffling the deck, John?
No.
Just out of curiosity, because we've been doing this a couple of weeks.
If 5-7's empty, I go to the next closest one.
All right, just checking CD protocol here.
I like it.
I have a stack of all of our used CDs are sitting over here.
Sounds good.
What do you got, Mike?
521.
Sticking with the 5s. You know what?
I hate that. Dude, that section 5 is full of like nonsense that ain't even mine.
That's like Area 51 for you.
Yes.
That means there's gold there somewhere that we can laugh. Everything you pull out, John, is great. We have to get something to laugh at. You're pulling out all good stuff.
I'm going to go 313, John.
There it is.
313. I like it. I'm going to go 113.
Oh, there you go. Dan Green says 4-6. And Andre and Dave McLean checking in. Dave, give us a number, man, 1 through 5. And then also after that, give us a number 1 through 30. So, just give us and we're gonna pull a random CD. And Dave says, how could I forget John Rocker? Wow. What a jabroni! I remember that idiot.
Remember that dude? Didn't he go on the subway or something in New York and start insulting everybody?
4-2, John. 4-2 for Andre.
Moron.
James got 429.
429.
I like that one. All right. Look at why John's going. We got Dan says Dale Murphy, Henry Aaron, Smoltz, Glavin, Rocker, Mike Lemke.
Oh, yeah, Lemke.
Mark Lemke. Wow. I'm trying to think of they had some really stiff relievers back in the day. How about Browning Nagel? Was Browning Nagel
pull this from?
Right? Browning Nagel was a pitcher for the Braves. Browning Nagel.
We have to do the funniest. Maybe we should do a segment with the funniest names. Because
he was the quarterback.
Browning Nagel. Raleigh Fingers. Dennis Oil Can Boyd.
Oil Can Boyd.
Phillies had Brandon Duckworth.
Yeah, they did. Oh, my God. Jared Duckworth.
We're gonna have to look up the origin of Oil Can. I'm sure there's a funny story behind that.
Dennis Oil Can Boyd. That's a great nickname.
I mean, it could be worse. You have a worse nickname, right?
Exactly. Could be worse.
There must be something worse. Must be something smooth behind Oil Can.
Yeah, it's got to be. Wow, Andre says Popeye Jones.
Ooh, Popeye Jones was a Seton Hall kid.
JoJo Reyes. Wow, we're getting something. I like this, man. We're going.
JoJo Reyes. Where was I know that.
I got one for you. Ryan Klesko. He was a Brave. Yeah, Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, he was a home run hitter.
Nobody mentioned Crime Dog? Fred McGriff?
Yeah,
Fred McGriff, man, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Tone, how about this? Boyd told Buster Olney of ESPN, I get to the ballpark, all the ball players are on the field, and, talking batting practice and everything, and I'm in the clubhouse, and I got my pipe with me. I can remember going and locking myself up in the bathroom and smoking dope right there at the ballpark. Bro, Oil Can Boy was getting cracked out before games in the damn dugout.
Are you serious?
This is what that's what I read. It's on Wikipedia. Who knows if it's true or not? You know.
Wow.
He said he was hitting the base like Pookie in the clubhouse.
Like, Scotty, I don't want to die, Scotty.
CMB sold him the crack.
Yeah, and my brother's keeper.
Exactly. G Money was in the stands.
Yeah. And who was it? The stutter, bro man, brother man,
a dutter man. We should do a whole episode on New Jack City.
Oh, that was great. Wow, what a great Nino Brown.
Oh man,
Nino Brown.
That soundtrack was killer.
Yep, that was.
Jack Hustler, Ice-T.
Oh, that New Jack Hustler joint was spectacular.
I still listen to that.
Yep.
Still,
I can still remember the video of the dude riding the bike over the overpass and Ice-T chasing after him, man. Like
that was the opening scene in New Jack City.
And then he was over trash bags punching the crap out of the dude.
Yep.
You know, I wasn't built with a silver spoon in my mouth, Miss
Hawkins. Look at him. Kareem Akbar.
The leader of the CMB. It was him the whole time.
Andre just commented, he said, it's that pretty motherfucker from the bank.
Rockabye, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was a great
movie. Now we gotta watch New Jack City for Christmas. It's a perfect family movie.
All right, John, what do you got, brother? Yeah, perfect
Go, John.
family movie.
Oh man, we're all over the place here today.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
All right, so Al at 5'7", we got MTV Party to Go Volume 7.
Whoa. MTV Party to Go Volume 7.
That's at section. I told you Section 5. Section 5 is a little nuts.
What the hell happened to Volume 6 and 4?
I gotta hear
give me a
some of
sample.
these tracks.
Give us a sample.
Adina Howard, Freak Like Me.
Okay, that's good. That's a good one.
Madonna, Human Nature. Candy Rain by Soul for Real.
Very good. A really good one.
Here Comes
really
the Hot Stepper, Aini Kamosi.
Oh my Lord.
That's fine.
This is How We Do It, Montel.
Perfect party song.
Short Man. Ruggish Bone.
Excellent.
Dear Mama.
Okay. How's Dear Mama a party song? How?
I don't know.
Who's playing that?
Brandy, I Want to Be Down.
Okay, great.
Is that Brandy?
Yeah, great song.
You, Jodeci, Tony. You would say that last week.
Yes, Jodeci, one of the best
And
groups
Boys
of all
to Men,
time.
I'll Make Love to You.
Oh, what is this? A slow dance party?
Yeah, like what
Like
kind of
slow dance tracks or
It's
basement
Tony
party?
Brown's Between the Sheets again. Like, what's going on here?
WDAS.
That's a spin the bottle party, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're spinning something. I don't think it's a bottle though.
I want to tell Tara that I'm sorry and I love you.
Yeah.
WDS. I love you, Lisa.
This is going out from Mike to Joni. It's been 2 weeks.
Those are the days. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks and I can't stop thinking about you.
Yeah. I can't. Oh, this is great, man. Oh, this is great. All right, John. Go ahead. Oh, this is beautiful.
John, whatever's in section 5, you look like you got another really good one.
Wow. So, all right, Mikey, Section 5, 21.
Oh, God.
We got the ultimate collection of Rick James.
Whoa.
Nice.
Rick James. John, you have all kinds of stuff in that.
I'll tell you what, this is the biggest grab bag we've ever had.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Rick James.
We're just getting started.
Rick James.
Rick James, cold-blooded. I'll tell you what.
Excellent. Excellent, John.
All right.
Excellent.
Tony, you went 313. I know you used to listen to this. Color Me Bad.
Whoa.
Yo, that's the second album. That's I Adore Mia Moore's on there, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's my song.
Yeah. That's
Not I Want to Sex You Up. That's the next album.
Te quiero mucho, baby. Te
Yes.
quiero mucho.
All for Love. All for Love and I Adore Me and More.
Yeah, you remember Color Me Bad, Dave. They were the I Want to Sex You Up was one of the songs that was on the New Jack City soundtrack. That was huge.
TikTok.
I didn't realize they had all those white boys on there.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, he had the Kid and Play cut, the one dude.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that dude looks a little like David Green from 90210.
I wonder what they're doing today.
The punk guy looks like Larry Fitz.
I still keep thinking of Between the Sheets.
we went from Oil Camp Boyd freebasing in the dugout to G Money to In Between the Sheets to Rick James.
I love it. Like Al said, classic CMB. All we got.
All we got.
That's old school barbecue on the West Coast on a Singleton movie. Listen, Boys in the Hood. I mean, that was when that's a whole nother episode. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. What you got?
Ho's got to eat too.
So what are we at? We're at all right. Now we're at Dave. Coach Dave. 113. 8-ball and MJG on top of the world.
Wow. You got an 8-ball. Oh, my Lord.
It's an 8-ball CD?
Yeah.
Nobody would have guessed that.
The CD was not, it is not good.
Disclaimer.
There was like one song that was like, okay, that was it. I don't even remember what it is, and I can't read.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that album, John? 8-ball what?
On Top of the World.
On Top of the World.
You got it. Yeah. Wow.
We're going to be up all night listening to that song.
The CD cover is golden. This is great. Wow.
All right. We're moving on because this is the one that I'm going to get smashed for. But
here we go.
I mean, look, I could lie and say that it ain't mine, but
here we go.
I ain't that kind of guy. You guys
own it, brother.
You guys know I'm a Shania Twain fan. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
But this is even a step worse. Dan at 4'6". We got some Amy Grant. Amy Grant. I'm sorry. There's something about her voice. I've always liked Amy Grant.
John, this is a safe zone, no judgment zone. Hey, you're good.
I ain't got nothing to hide.
Wait, I can't even name one song for it. Is that Walking on Broken Glass?
That's you did that last time. That's like Melissa Etheridge.
So maybe Tony's got something he wants to tell us. He's a Melissa Etheridge fan.
Walking on Broken Glass.
What is that? I don't know. Oh my goodness, that's gonna drive me crazy now.
Let's just figure it out. Let's just Google it.
It's Annie Lennox.
Annie Lennox. Yes.
Walking on Broken Glass.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I'm an Amy Grant fan. So.
We see.
That's fine.
All right, and then we got 4-2 Andre, uneventful, but Tupac.
Which one is that?
That's one of my flip labels.
Okay.
Tupac
Now, that's his first album.
Yeah.
Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yep.
Brenda's got If My Homie Calls. Brenda's Got a Baby. That's a great album.
I didn't get into Tupac until after that, believe it or not.
I bet you I could probably recite the entire Brenda's Got a Baby song right now. Like I listened to it that much.
Interesting.
Brenda's got herself a boyfriend. It was like a whole story, man. Like he just told a story. That's when I was like, yo, this dude is supreme. You could tell.
Right.
What you got, John?
All right, McLean. More Tupac. All Eyes on Me.
Oh, it's another great one.
Yeah.
Two of America's Most Wanted. Look at that. I love it. West Side. That's a great album. That's a really good album. That's Two of America's Most Wanted with Snoop. Great song.
There were so many. You had the collaboration with Method Man and the Dog Pound was on one of the tracks with Snoop.
Yes.
That was a great song. Then you had, obviously, California Love was on that, and that was the groundbreaker. That was the one that pushed the entire album. And then you had so many other great tracks. You had Scandalous. You had, God, there were so many of them, man. You just put that CD in and let it run. And
then you had the Hit 'Em Up, right? The hit that when we put that song on, we're like, whoa!
I don't think Hit 'Em Up was on that album, was it?
No, it was not.
No, it wasn't. I thought it was. Okay,
I think it was. Yeah.
I liked Picture Me Rolling with Boss Hogg.
Oh,
Great.
Picture Me Rolling.
Picture Me Rolling was
And
great.
I tell you what, I would go to the music store and look to see if Boss Hogg came out with a CD, like his own CD. Like I wanted him to come out with his own CD for so long. I don't think he ever did.
Nah, I don't think he did either. I think it was just a cameo.
Picture Me
That was
Rolling
it.
was, I think that was a DJ Quick beat.
Oh,
Yeah, DJ Quick. Oh, you could always hear it. You always knew what a DJ Quick song was.
Yes.
That sounds like a DJ Quick beat. I don't know. I'd have to verify that. But
Dave says that was my album. Wow, that was the first album my mom took away from me.
For good reason,
Those lyrics were hardcore, man.
For good
Those
reason.
lyrics were hardcore. You got another one, John?
No, that was it.
Wow, man. I'll tell you what, that was some very interesting pulls, man. Very interesting. Andre said it pretty much. He said, yo, I really don't know anyone with his range of music. I'll tell you what, I definitely, I don't see, my problem is I don't have like John. John is a stickler for organization. I have 2 hard drives that literally have over 200, 300 gigs worth of music from
Napster.
just ridiculous albums.
From Napster, when you just let your hard drive run all day long for 24 hours a day, just grabbing everything.
What was the other? It wasn't Napster. What was the other one? LimeWire, yes. And then you had FrostWire came out, and they shut all them down.
Yeah, they did.
And then you had the Pirate Bay, if that's even still.
Yeah, those Whereas sites were just full of viruses. So you would download an MP3 and it would just be full of malware and it would just crash your whole computer.
Dude,
Pirate Bay. I think I just saw that. It was a movie. I think Pirate Bay.
Might have been.
Yeah.
When Napster was out, my brother-in-law, he was always downloading music on the desktop computer back then.
Yes.
Oh my! I feel like it was like every 3 weeks. I was reinstalling the whole operating system on 7 discs. Remember back in it, like you would have to reinstall everything with discs, like actual discs.
Yes.
There were like 7 discs. It would like run for like 45 minutes. Spit it up. Please put in disc 2. It would be like 5 hours just rebooting the computer.
I would take like hours because I would do like Mike said. I would let it run for like, I'd just type in like hits and like just download everything. And like I got stuff like I don't even know what I had, man. I was like opening it up like I had all kinds of mixes and albums and it's crazy how much stuff I got from there. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Janet coming in late. She got troll John. She says, hey, John, you getting ready for another Pittsburgh loss this week?
Oh, that was below the belt.
Oh, man. Oh, look. Dave says top of Christmas list every year, CDRs. Yes, and then you had CDRWs for the rewritable disc, so you can rewrite over them, right?
Yeah, on a CDR, if you burned it once, you were finished with it. You had to trash
that was it.
Right.
Yep. And I remember you were scouring the finals sometimes, man. Unbelievable. Well, boys, 2 hours, 10 minutes. Yeah, we were literally like an hour and a half, and then we just start talking again. When we get on music and different, it's great. It's fantastic. I mean, I appreciate everybody. Continue to follow us and the comments coming in. I'm sorry to get some earlier. Something was going on, very strange. But again, to everybody, Jenna, Al, David, Andre, Dan. I know they'll see Dan tomorrow, but everybody who follows us every single week, man. Happy holidays. Yes, Dave. I agree. Great show. Thank you. Happy holidays to all. Jenna says fantasy tomorrow. Yes. Fantasy Firebox tomorrow, 7:15. Me, John, Dan, Jason, giving you some fantasy football Super Bowl talk, so we'll be in there. But again, everybody stay safe, stay healthy as always, and have a great Christmas. Googs, Merry Christmas. Coach Dave.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Pittsburgh, John. You guys are fantastic, man. We really got something nice here. We had a lot of fun. Again, it's nice that we get all fired up in the beginning, and then towards the end we get to just listen. This is what we would be doing if it wasn't COVID, sitting around the bar, man.
Music calms us all down.
Yes.
And John's CD rack has been a source of entertainment.
I'm going to put on some soothing Amy Grant to put me to sleep.
I'll tell you what. I'm good when we get. I'm YouTubing. No, first I'm YouTubing the cannabis freestyle.
Yeah, that's
Big
first.
Pun.
First order of business.
And then I'm YouTubing Amy Grant because I want to see what that's all about. And I might hit up a little Color Me Bad before I go to bed too, because I Adore Me More was my track. It'll bring me back to some good dreams about Kelly Kapowski.
See, look, I got all
owns
these CDs here. I can listen to Color Me Bad right now. Oh, I don't have a CD player.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you break out your 8-track while you're at it? We'll see if we can find a cassette deck.
Oh, that's great. Andre says, brought it tonight. Dan says, good job tonight. Good night, boys. Happy holidays, Al. As always, we'll be talking on Twitter. And happy holidays, Andre. As always, you too, my man. And David, last one says, sold on Jalen 12-20. Mark it down.
SOJ.
I love it. I love it. I'll own it, Dave. I'll own it. Not a problem. But again, as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Reviews, ratings, everything. Appreciate it. Have a great, we'll see. All right, we're going to have I guess, we'll talk. Maybe we need to take a break till after the new year. Who knows? But again, Eagles, let's go. Fly, Eagles, fly. Dallas week. See everybody maybe next year.
Peace.